weekend. We'd like to wish Jeff a big congratulations on that and hope that his weekend is going safe and sound. But on the other hand, we have some high school football to play here at Top Taggart Field. Both teams looking for their first win on the season.
Yeah, and if you're looking at this game right now, Chip Hills and Big Rapids both have had the same two opponents to start the year. Both played Central Montcalm very tough, and both suffered blowout losses to Reed City, which was tough to take for both teams. If you're looking at Big Rapids, though, last week, even though they had that tough loss, Sam Alley did break for a 75-yard touchdown run. Big run for him in the fourth quarter right there to get his confidence going coming into this week. You also saw Jamal Strickland last week get a receiving touchdown before the end of the first half when he went up and over a defensive back to make that catch. Justin Gorchevitz had a slow day on the ground last week. I would look for him to get going early. Through the first two games of the season, he's not getting a lot in terms of yards per carry, but I would expect that to change in a big way as they start to seal the perimeter better for him.
And that's very true. It was a tough week all around last week for Big Rapids. And coming to this game, you mentioned it, same two opponents for these two teams. Not just the same two opponents, but the top two ranked teams, including the defending champs in Central Montcalm from a year ago. Reed City is never an easy feat there. Still, Big Rapids hasn't beat them since 2009. So a very wide variety of things that could have happened last week. Some things went the wrong way. Talking to Coach Seltzer over the week saying they were a bit stunned or shocked after those first few plays. A big play for Reed City that leads right into the end zone on the first play from scrimmage, and then Big Rapids gets a ball on the first play from scrimmage for them is a fumble, and then a return from the nose tackle, Teddy Cross, for a touchdown.
If you're Big Rapids right now, what you're looking for is ball control, ball control, ball control. 2 weeks into the season, a lot of balls are hitting the ground on these read options. Sam Alley did a good job in the second half last week of holding onto the ball, making sure that it was secure. In the first half, as you alluded to, he did fumble, and it was returned for a touchdown. Put the Cardinals behind 16-0 very quickly in that game, and it was hard for them to dig out of that hole after that.
It really was, and it was just catch-up after that point. Had some really good moments in that game for Big Rapids, just couldn't put it all together. Sam Alley he at least had a hand in on each touchdown, a nice pass to the corner of the end zone to Jamal Strickland, and then he also pulled it down and ran it for 75 yards and a touchdown in that fourth quarter. Unfortunately, too little too late, but I'd like to thank everybody for joining us here in the Isabella Bank Sports Studios on Big Country 100.9. Have to mention tonight's game sponsors, Farmers Insurance Strickler Agency in downtown Big Rapids, also Sam's Disposals. Flat rates, no contracts, no hidden fees. Call 796-2952 today to start your service. Also, Bader & Sons, your local John Deere dealer, outstanding in their field. Find out more at greentractors.com. Also, if you're trying to follow along, not just on the radio, but also on streams, we have free live streaming. Go to WWBR.com or get the free app for iOS and Android. Follow the game on any device. Same along with our Facebook Live feed. Free live video with this play-by-play. Go to Big Country 100.9 WWBR Big Rapids page. So we talked about the same two opponents to start the season for these two teams, and it really hasn't been easy offensively for Chip Hills. They were up against Reed City in week one at one point, 20-6, and then that was about it. Struggling offense in the second half has kind of been a key piece to both of those first games for Chip Hills, and this Big Rapids defense is really going to have to step up.
Yeah, Chip Hills right now has only scored 13 points in the second half on the year. As you alluded to, they had 20 points in the first half against Reed City, and it looked as if they were going to win that game and come away with a huge opening win. Obviously, they could not get it done. If you're looking for Chip Hills, you want them to get going early. You want them to get going often. If you're Big Rapids, you know that they're going to come out strong in that first half, and you want to make sure that you're putting your foot on their throat on the defensive line to stop that run game at Chip Hills.
And we saw the success in week one for Big Rapids, obviously still a 12-7 loss against Central Montcalm, but that defensive front was a key piece in that game. You really look to what this defense has done over the season, and it was a tale of two stories, because you look at week one and this defense was commanding on the field for the Cardinals, but then they get exposed last week, surrendered 319 yards on 37 carries on the ground, and also 2 catches for 59 yards, one of those going for a touchdown. A very different week it was week one. It was only 123 yards of offense for Central Montcalm. So look to see that type of form, at least from this defensive front in this game.
Yeah, and if you're looking for a big play to be made out of that Big Rapids defense, you're looking at for DJ Green Bay, the 4-year starter for this varsity team, 3-time all-conference, and the way that he started the year, I'll be looking for him to make his 4th all-conference team this year. In the first game, it was very much a team effort, and they did a great job of keeping Central Montcalm in check, limiting them on the ground and in the air. However, last week it was a lot of one-on-one tackles, not a lot of gang tackles. It was an issue, the fact that they kept finding guys in space, and that's no good in high school football. You don't want to leave guys stranded on islands trying to make tackles.
I think it's about time for our Big Country game weather update. It's been a chilly one. Had a beautiful week last week, which luckily for us, that was the one week we were outside. Would not want to be outside in this weather. There's been rain on and off. It's a little windy, a little chilly, but to get exact with it, it's about 48 degrees outside. Cloud covering the skies. Lights are already in full effect here at Top Taggart. And we're still about 2 minutes away from kickoff, or the start of things going here at Top Taggart Field. So we'll step aside for 2 minutes, and we'll be back after the national anthem right here on Big Country 100.9.
Proud community supporters of Cardinal Athletics include the Schuberg Insurance Agency, celebrating 75 years, Bader & Sons Company at greentractors.com, Johnson's Automotive Repair, serving the community with honesty and integrity, Sam's Disposal, your local trash man with a vengeance to rid the world of trash, Big Rapids Public Schools, award-winning schools educating our future, Paris Auto Sales and Service of Big Rapids, your Napa Service Center, Williams Family Medical, your local family doctor. Shane Strickler Farmers Insurance, downtown Big Rapids. Quality Car and Truck Repair, home of the 1695 oil change. And also sponsored by BigRapidsDailyNews.com. Follow Big Rapids Daily News on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Now let's go live to the Isabella Bank Sports Studio with Riley Edwards and Coach Scarpelli.
Right into the gut of that Chip Hills defensive line, and it gets him a couple yards, makes it about 2nd and 8.
It's not too often that you'll see a quarterback power run out there, but that's exactly what they try to do here at Big Rapids. You want to get that power run game going, want to get anybody that can run the football going early and downhill.
And with this veer offense, you always have so many options on which way the play is going. You could tell that was a designed quarterback dive straight into that line. 2nd and 8 from the 47, clock under 11 minutes to go here in this first quarter. Alley in the gun, running back and tight end to his right. Puts Kidder in motion from left to right. And Alley will take it himself, move up the middle, and he'll be brought down at the 50-yard line, make it 3rd down. So 10:40 left on the clock and still no score in this first quarter. 3rd down and 5 from the 50-yard line. And Sam Alley will have to lead his offense here early in this game.
I like the play call so far. You're trying to get Sam Alley going. Last week he ended on a high note with that big 70-yard touchdown run. You want to get him going, get his big play potential up.
So 2 wide receivers on each side of Alley. His running back lined up to his left. Takes the snap. He's rolling out left. Looks for Kidder in the flat, and it's picked off, and stepping out of bounds is Gage Todd. And there's another turnover for Big Rapids. He was trying to find his man, Grant Kidder, in the flat, and it just didn't work out.
Right there, Alley's rolling left. He has his man in the flat that he wants, and he just throws the ball a little too late. Right there, he kind of gave away who he was throwing it to. He's kind of staring down his receiver. Simple mistake. Yeah, I believe he'll probably fix it on the next drive, but right there, easy interception for the Warriors.
Well, if you're Big Rapids, you have to be happy this isn't deeper in your own territory, only at the 48-yard line, 1st and 10. From the gun, Davis takes it, hands it off left side, and he's brought down. A quick play coming out of that backfield. Jack Cooley. And that'll bring up a tackle for loss, a 2nd down and long. They'll mark it 2nd down and 13. The Warriors back on their own side of the field.
That was a nice play there by Cooley and really the Cardinals defensive line.
So 9:30 left on the board. Still no score between Chip Hills and Big Rapids. Davis in the gun has his running back directly behind him. Wide receivers split out on each side. Davis steps back, throws it deep, left downfield, looking for Todd. A pass that was not going to be caught with the coverage or not. It lands out of bounds. That'll bring up 3rd down and 13. He took one step back and just launched down that left side, and you can tell how really involved Gage Todd is in with this team, whether he gets a handoff, a pass, in this case an interception on the defensive drive before for Chip Hills.
4 passes thrown in this game, and all of them have come Todd's way. That's including the one he got on defense.
So Davis in the pistol, running back right behind him. 2 wide receivers split right. Takes a snap, fakes the handoff, takes it himself, trying to get wide right, gets across the 50, slides up, and he'll be brought down as he falls across the 45-yard line in Big Rapids territory. That will not be enough for the 1st down, but it will bring up 4th down and about 6 to go. They'll mark him down at the 44. That does make it 4th and 6 with 8:50 left in the 1st quarter. And it looks like they're bringing the punt team back out here, so Xander Prince goes back deep to return for Big Rapids. And you wonder here how aggressive you'd want to be on offense in a scoreless game early in the 1st quarter, but you're in enemy territory. A bad snap. It actually goes past one of the blockers, and the punter will have to jump on it, down it in his own territory, and that's where Big Rapids will take over. So it'll be a 1st down and 10 from the 44-yard line, already in Chip Hills territory. Have to give credit to Gavin Miller there, who was set up to punt and just covered that up with a ton of Cardinals back there with him.
Air on the long snapper right there. He hits the up back in the shoulder pad, and no chance the punter had no chance right there to even try to get that ball away. Smart on him to cover it right up. That way you're negating any chance for a bigger loss on that play.
As a long snapper, you miss high or low. Sometimes those can be reined in. You miss left or right. You got 2 guys there right behind you who it might smash into. 8.5 minutes left in this 1st quarter. Still no score. Alley takes the snap. Rolls right. Throwing back across the middle of the field. And nearly a 2nd interception. Right through the hands of Logan Davis, who was playing in that secondary. And luckily, the Cardinals are still on the field to see 2nd and 10.
And he had Gorchevich there on the post route. However, the ball a little bit late, and a good play by Logan Davis to come down from his zone and make that play. Almost had an interception.
Going back to week 1, talking with Coach Seltzer, had Will Strickler in at quarterback, a more inexperienced quarterback. He said it's always tough to see those passes go late back towards the middle of the field. Handoff to Cooley on the 2nd play of the drive, and he stopped at the line of scrimmage. They'll give him that line of scrimmage as his gain. It's 3rd down and 10 from the 44. 8 minutes left in this 1st quarter. Still no score.
Disappointing play right there. As we alluded to with this veer, you're trying to get the power run game going, trying to get it going, and right there you just get stuffed for no gain at all. You don't like to see that if you're the coach right now for the Cardinals.
Well, 3rd down and 10, you'd have to imagine they're going back to the air. It's been a tough night. Didn't know what kind of conditions we were going to get. It was raining off and on as Alley takes the snap, hands it off left, and he's taken down for a loss of yardage. That was Grant Kidder coming around on the motion. He's brought down for a loss of 1. That brings up 4th and 11.
A good play there by Carl Whipple to make that play. They tried to get the edge there, tried to do a little bit of misdirection with Sam Alley. Just didn't work out right there.
So 7:15 left on the clock in this 1st quarter, and Big Rapids will pull out the punt team. And maybe a bit of confusion on the punt return team for Chip Hills. They had a few players running around asking each other what to do. So back deep as the snap is low. Alley takes it, a nice rugby punt that bounces around the 25 and rolls out at the 23-yard line. In their own territory, Chip Hills will take over 1st and 10 at the 23.
Chip Hills is showing that they're willing to go to the air right here, and I would expect that to be the same. Gage Todd is going to be a popular target all day. It's going to be a name that we're saying a lot. He's had some opportunities here. He's had some guys beat on routes. However, some bad throws from Logan Davis have been the difference between Chip Hills being able to move this ball and them being stuck in their own territory.
Well, if you're Chip Hills, you'd like to get your offense rolling here. The second half has not been kind to them so far this season. Snap. Davis fakes a handoff, takes it himself, but there's Jack Cooley. Brings him down for a loss of yardage nearly to the 20. They'll mark him down at the 21-yard line. Brings up second down and 12. We mentioned, want to get the offense rolling here if you're the Warriors because the second half has been so tough to score in. Just 6 points in the second half against Reed City after they were up 20-6 at one point. And then you look at their last game against Central Montcalm, only touchdown they scored in that game, plus the extra point to make it 7, was in that fourth quarter. So collectively, 13 points in the fourth quarter in 2 games for Chip Hills. Davis in the gun, hard count, takes a snap, handoff up the middle, and there's a few coming across, including DJ Green Bay and a couple other from that front. Saw Austin Manicky make initial contact.
The biggest difference right now I'm noticing for the Cardinals right now is that they are flocking to the football. They are making tackles 3-4 guys at a time. You're seeing these blue jerseys move around, and that's always a sign that you're going to be keeping guys in short gains if you're making gang tackles.
You mentioned the short gain. They got what they lost back on the first play, but only gained 1 extra yard. It's 3rd down and 9. Ball on the 24, 5.5 minutes left to go in this first quarter. Still no score between Chip Hills and Big Rapids. Warriors come out with a wide receiver on each side. Davis takes the snap, and it's a screen pass. And there's Gage Todd trying to run towards the right, and he'll be brought down in open field by Jamal Strickland. But he gets 1 more yard than he needs. That's a first down, and there moves the chains.
Good design right there on the screenplay. Gage Todd had the convoy in front of him. It looked like it was going to be a bigger gain. Jamal Strickland does a great job right there of bringing him down only 2 yards after the first down. Good open field tackle right there by Jamal Strickland. Probably the best, arguably the best athlete on that defense for the Cardinals.
A lot of great athletes, DJ Green Bay, Austin Manicky, but Jamal Strickland seems to be everywhere. First down and 10, ball at the 34. Davis takes a snap, fakes it, swings it left, and the pass is too high for Todd. Gorchevich was a heat-seeking missile there trying to get to that bubble screen, and luckily for Todd, it's too high, and that brings up second down and 10.
Yeah, maybe a good thing right there that he did not catch it. It looked like Gorchevich was going to be laying the boom right there coming downhill at him.
So second down, 10 to go, ball on the 34-yard line as the Warriors break huddle. Uniforms, mainly all white, shoulder cuffs in red along with their helmets. Davis takes a snap, and it's fumbled in the backfield and picked up. Davis will come across and make the tackle, but Big Rapids collects a turnover, and they're starting at the 27-yard line. Big play there by Sawyer Muse, who got through that line first, a fumbled handoff, and he was right there to scoop it up.
You know, the refs have towels on them right now, and they're wiping off these balls that are getting wet from the turf, and I thought that would help a lot with these offenses being able to control the ball and keep it off the turf, keep the fumbles to a minimum, but right there, just a bad exchange leads to a turnover for the Warriors.
And that was a similar play we saw last week for Reed City against Big Rapids. It was Teddy Cross, a nose tackle for the Coyotes, who just picked up a fumble and ran it straight back. And luckily for Chip Hills, Logan Davis was alert enough to make that tackle and bring down Sawyer Muse. So Muse gets his offense on the field. It's first down and 10. 4:38 left to go in the first quarter. Still scoreless here from Top Taggart Field. And a man in motion, but there will be a timeout called by Big Rapids. They had Justin Gorchevich going from right to left, but we'll have to wait for the next play. We'll take a 30-second break, and we'll be back with more football right here on Big Country 100.9.
Tonight, dinner comes from CL Pizza. Take out two 14-inch delicious one-topping pizzas, breadsticks, and a 2-liter of pop for only $29. Every pizza from the CL Pizza Company in Canadian Lakes is made from scratch with fresh ingredients, so your taste buds are always a-dancing. Take out dinner any night of the week from CL Pizza Company. Two 14-inch one-topping pizzas, breadsticks, and a 2-liter of cola. Soda or pop. Check the full menu at clpizzaco.com and follow CL Pizza on Facebook and Instagram.
From Top Taggart Field, 4:38 left on the clock in this first quarter, and both teams strolling back out onto the field. I'd like to thank you for joining us here at the Isabella Bank Sports Studios, right here on Big Country 100.9. Riley Edwards, Spencer Tynan with you tonight for action that will have one team leave with a win. So the snap from Alley is a handoff up the middle to Cooley, and the ball's on the ground. And Cooley looks like he may be injured, picked up by Chip Hills, so it looks like it will be a turnover. Just one play on this drive, and Cooley, who hadn't played the first 2 games of the season, holding that knee. And we hope nothing but the best from up here in the booth as a training crew taking a look at him. It's hard to see exactly what happened. It was just a simple handoff up the middle, and it's a lot that happens in those trenches, a lot of physical activities that happen in those trenches.
Yeah, sometimes on turf like this, when it gets wet, it can get kind of tacky. You heard NFL players complaining about that at MetLife in New York. Well, here, maybe a cleat stuck in the turf a little bit, and just a twist of that knee, and hoping it's nothing serious for Jack Cooley.
Training crew still looking at him around the 25-yard line. So when we resume play, it'll be 1st down and 10 from the 23 for Chip Hills as they pick up a big turnover from Big Rapids after they just fumbled one in the backfield. I'd like to give credit to some of the people who made this broadcast possible tonight. The Schuberg Insurance Agency, located in downtown Big Rapids. Your local independent agency, community-driven, policyholder-focused, education-based for the best rates on home, auto, business, and life. Also, Quality Car and Truck Repair, the area's only AAA service center, 220th Avenue, just west of 131, Big Rapids. Also, Williams Family Medical, your local independent family doctor in downtown Big Rapids, accepting new patients. Visit williamsfamilymedical.com for more. So, Jack Cooley up and walking off under his own power, slowly, but that's a good sign to see him walking off that field right now.
Oh, yeah, you love to see that right now. Thoughts out to Jack Cooley. Hopefully everything is okay there. In terms of ball security, though, back-to-back plays really quickly here. It looked like it was going to be a clean game, but back-to-back turnovers right there are saying otherwise. This rain might be playing more of a factor than anticipated.
So a different formation. It's the wing T, a formation that Big Rapids saw a ton just a week ago. 3 running backs lined up behind Davis. He takes the snap, handoff, left side, and just moving a pile. Xander Prince came up to help from the secondary. A couple other Cardinals getting in there, including Brett Martin, who we've seen get on a few tackles here lately. And that play will go for about 9 yards, brings up 2nd down and 1.
Yeah, good, tough run right there by Gage Todd. Just kept moving the pile as all the Cardinals swarmed to the ball to bring him down.
4 minutes to go in the first quarter, still scoreless here from Top Taggart Field. Chip Hills comes out in that wing T again. Davis taking a look at that defensive set, now under center. Takes the snap, handoff, left side, and there's Gage Todd again running through a couple of Cardinals before he's tripped up defensively by Grant Kidder. And that will be more than enough for a 1st down as he broke the 45-yard line, placed him at the 46, 1st and 10 for the Warriors.
Well, it looks like Chip Hills watched the game film from last week. Now they combine this wing team formation that they saw gave the Cardinals fits last week for Reed City.
Well, not just the Cardinals. It also gave Chip Hills fits of their own just a couple weeks ago. Davis under center, gives the hard count, looking for a jump. Now looks back at his coach and is under center. Takes the snap. It's a handoff, right side this time, and he's brought down. Jamal Strickland with the initial contact. Grant Kidder coming in with the help. And it will be Gabe Miller, who ran that one, the senior, wearing number 44 on the back of his white jersey. One of the few names we've called so far this game that hasn't been Gage Todd. 2:50 now on the clock in this first quarter. Still scoreless, but this is the strongest drive we've seen from either team. It's 2nd down and 3 to go from the 47-yard line in Big Rapids territory. The snap, handoff. No, it'll be a keep, and this will be a big loss of yardage. So a few fake handoffs there, and it was Logan Davis who decided to keep it himself, and that brings up 3rd down and about 9.
Great penetration right there for Big Rapids to get to the quarterback, not fooled by the misdirection of the handoffs.
Well, on a 2nd and 3, you get a loss of 6. Good looks for the Cardinals. 3rd down and 9. Ball still on the 47, but now their own 47. Snap, handoff, left side, and it is Gage Todd again. He's upended by Justin Gorchevich, and another hard run. He put his shoulder down, but Gorchevich went a little bit lower and was able to bring him down.
It's a good open field tackle by Gorchevich. We had listened to his fundamentals right there. Gets low, gets down, makes the tackle, wraps up.
A minute and a half left to go in this first quarter. And Chip Hills brings out the punt team after having it 2nd and 3 in Big Rapids territory. They're punting from their own about 35, punts away. Another fair catch called, and again, Chip Hills just going straight at him. He had the fair catch call, maybe even a little bit more obvious this time, and even more Warriors showed up to that spot and tried to take him down.
Man, if you're Xander right there, what are you going to do? I mean, you did everything you could to not get hit, and they're still wrapping up and bringing you down. I don't know if they're practicing for their WWE moves, but it's back-to-back punts where he's getting hit after a fair catch signal.
I guess if you're Xander standing back there calling for the fair catch, just brace for impact. Have no clue what's coming at him right now. Both punts that he's been back there to return, Chip Hills has just still made contact. So 1:22 on the clock, and what would have been a fair catch around the 20-yard line is now a 1st down and 10 from the 38 for Big Rapids. Alley in the gun, running back to his left. It'll be a handoff to Gorchevich up the middle. Breaks the line of scrimmage, gets to about the 40-yard line, and that's where he's pulled to the turf. Brings up 2nd down and 8. 1:10 left on the clock. Still no score between the Cardinals and the Warriors. Been a lot of running in this first half. It's gone by a pretty brisk pace, but still nobody getting into the end zone. Cardinals up to the line. 2nd and 8 from the 40-yard line. Alley in the gun, has a running back to his left, has a tight end on each side and a wide receiver as well. Kidder in motion from right to left. He'll take the handoff. He's breaking outside, gets across the 50, and a tackle made, but not before he's brought down at about the 46-yard line, and that will move the chains for the Cardinals.
Very good run right there by Kidder. Gets the outside edge and just takes it for a nice big gain, gets the 1st down. Maybe Big Rapids can start piecing together some 1st downs right here and get the ball moving down. Still a scoreless game. You want to be the first points on that board.
And Spencer, that's a play we've seen the past few weeks that really just hasn't worked out a ton. Kidder's able to really just run across the line of scrimmage, but once he tries to go north to south, it really just hasn't worked out. So after the big run from Kidder, 1st and 10 from the 46-yard line, and Alley will fake the handoff, keep it himself, gets up to the 45-yard line. That'll bring up 2nd down and 9. And that will bring us to the end of this first quarter, so still scoreless through the first. Big Rapids, Chip Hills, a lot left to play for here on Big Country 100.9.
Home is where the heart is. Since 1903, we've called the heart of Michigan our home. When you bank with us, your money stays right here, invested back into the communities where we work, play, and live, promoting economic growth and community service. At Isabella Bank, we care about our community Because this is our home too. Isabella Bank. Bank local, bank anywhere. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Twelve. 12 minutes up on the clock here in the second quarter from Top Taggart Field. Big Rapids hosting Chip Hills on this dreary Friday night, and a ton of running. I mean, you have to imagine it's been a little bit wet out there. Teams keeping it on the grounds, and a really quick first quarter, but no one able to get into the end zone. Turnovers back and forth, really, for both teams.
Yeah, both teams forced turnovers to get into their own territory. An interception for Chip Hills put them at the 48 driving, and they ended up having to punt and then fumbling that punt. Big Rapids gets the ball off of that, and then they ended up fumbling themselves.
So back on the field for the second quarter of play, 12 minutes before these teams go to the locker rooms. Alley in the gun, running back to his left. 3 wide receivers to the right, just one by himself to the left. That's Jamal Strickland. Snap taken by Alley. He'll take it himself. He'll work across the 40-yard line. And near the first down marker, he'll be short by about 2 yards. That brings up third down and very short. So they'll mark it as third down and 2 from about the 38-yard line. 11 and a half minutes left in the clock in this first half.
Good run there by Sam Alley. He's been trying to get those runs up the middle all game, and it hadn't really panned out for him. But right there, you see that he's able to break through a little bit and get a little bit nice chunky yardage.
Alley in the gun, running back to his right. 2 wide receivers split out evenly on both sides. He drops back, now rolling right, getting chased, throws towards the sideline, and luckily able to get out of the pocket and just throw this one away because there was not a ton of room to work with there if you're Alley. Austin Venix has also been checking in more at that running back position these last few plays, and with a 4th down and 2 standing in front of you in enemy territory, what's the move here?
I'm going for it. Yeah, I mean, Chip Hills isn't even moving the ball. You're already in their territory at this point. Them starting to drive at their own 38 isn't going to scare me. I'm going to go for right here on 4th and 2 and see if I can't pick up 2 yards.
Have to trust the defense here, and that's exactly what Coach Seltzer will do. Offense back on the field, wide receivers, 2 of them split out each side. Now a bit of confusion about the formation as instead of 2, now Gorchevich will move to the left, trips left, man in motion, Kidder left to right. Alley takes the snap, and it's a throw picked off by Gage Todd and brought down from behind. It was initially Grant Kidder, Alley in on the tackle as well, and they will start their drive. You know how you just said the 38? Well, they'll start in the Big Rapids 30. What a change of momentum there.
Second pick of the game for Gage Todd, and right there Alley had Kidder open, but doesn't put it high enough to get it over the head of the defender, Todd, who was just sitting right in the path of the throw, and it just hit him right in the chest. I don't even know if Alley saw him standing there.
So an interception taken all the way back to the Big Rapids 30, basically flipping field position after that 4th down. So they'll come back out in the wing tee. Under center, Davis will hand it off to the right, and there's Jack Cooley back on the field making a tackle. So good to see him back out there. He got some help there by Justin Gorchevich, along with Austin Venix, and a few names from this defensive line we've said so very often.
Yeah, right here, Big Rapids cannot break. They got to stay firm and keep the Warriors out of the end zone, keep this game knotted up at 0-0.
10.5 minutes left to play in this first half, still scoreless. And this one of Chip Hill's tougher scoring threats, knocking on that door to the red zone. Handoff, left side, Todd. And there's Xander Prince who goes up with him and is able to just grab his jersey and bring him out of bounds. Also got some help there from Sawyer Muse, who went all the way to the sideline. So that'll bring up 3rd down and 3 yards to go from the 24-yard line.
Todd has really impressed me right now running the football. He's running hard. He's running with a purpose, and he's running angry. When you have a running back running angry, that's a scary thing for a defense. Big Rapids, though, is doing a good job of, even though he's getting some chunk plays, keeping him to 5 and under for the most part.
Now it's time to see what this Big Rapids defense does. 3rd down and 3 from the 24. Hard count, bit of movement, but nothing offsides for the Cardinals. Davis takes the snap, handoff, left side. Todd, he's running hard. He's got 3 Cardinals around him. He'll make it to the 20, and that will be enough for the first down. He put his shoulder down and into Xander Prince and just kept trucking forward. Prince slowed him down enough to get a few other Cardinals over there, but there was no chance that Todd wasn't getting that first down. He's been running hard tonight.
Just barely does not stop him from picking up that first down. Good job by Todd, though. He knew where the first down marker was right at that 20. He knew how to fight to get there.
9:10 left on the clock in this first half. Still scoreless. Davis takes a snap, hands it off, right side. No, he keeps it himself. He gets out to the numbers, the 10, the 5. He beats a shoelace tackle, and that's a touchdown for Chip Hills. So the Warriors take the first lead of the game. Nobody scored until the second half. They score with 9 minutes exactly remaining, and it's a 6-0 Warriors lead. So a big quarterback keeper for Chip Hills. Logan Davis doing a good job of concealing that and getting out to the numbers and into the end zone.
Davis had that ball pinned to his hip, hiding it, and didn't show it until he was out on the outside of the numbers.
Davis takes the snap. They're coming out for 2. He's looking for a man, throws it back behind him, and he misses his receiver behind as well, and too low. So that score will stay how it is, 6-0, 9 minutes left in this second quarter. So we'll take a 30-second break along with the teams, and we'll be back with more high school football on Big Country 100.9.
Auto Owners Insurance and the Schuberg Insurance Agency is a winning combination. We'll work for you to insure your home, auto, business, and life. To keep everything you value safe, sound, and secure. Auto Owners Insurance. The no-problem people. Call the Schuberg Insurance Agency, located in downtown Big Rapids, today for a fast, free quote. 231-796-5881. Go Cards.
Second quarter, and Chip Hills is set to kick it away. Riley Edwards, Spencer Tynan along here with you from the Isabella Bank Sports Studio, bringing you Big Rapids High School football on Big Country 100.9. A 6-0 lead for the Warriors, and here comes the kick back to the Cardinals. Jamal Strickland, who didn't have many chances last week, takes it in at the 20, trying to reverse the field at the 30. He's got some room. He stiff arms a man, makes a juke, falls across the 35, and that's where he will be taken out of bounds. And a very shifty kick return there for Jamal Strickland.
Yeah, you made a good point right there. You brought up that last week they really tried to kick away from Strickland. Right there, they was able to get a good return in his reverse fields and stiff arms. Man, that's a heck of a stiff arm. Must have hit the weight room this week to push a guy into the turf like that.
I mean, he's fast, he's strong, he can jump. What can't Jamal Strickland do on the field? I think the bigger question is, what can this Big Rapids offense do with 1st and 10 from their own 36? Had a very convincing drive going last time, and then an interception the second of the game from Sam Alley. So in the gun, wide receiver split on both sides, running back to his left. Takes the snap. He'll bring the handoff back. He'll take it himself up the middle for a gain of maybe a few inches. They'll mark him about a half a yard. Brings up 2nd down and 9.5.
And right there, Alley makes the right read. The defensive end stays home, so he keeps it on the read option. However, sometimes if you make the right read, it doesn't end up working out for you. It only gets a gain of about maybe a half a yard, if that.
8:22 left on the clock in this second quarter. 6-0 Warriors lead the Cardinals. Alley comes back in from Coach Seltzer to the huddle. And the Cardinals break and are back up to the line of scrimmage. Second down and about 9.5 to go from the 36-yard line. 8 minutes flat left on the clock. Alley in the gun, has a wide receiver on each side. This one's a handoff to Gorchevich. Right side cuts across the 35 and is upended before he can get to the 40. They'll mark him down at the 38-yard line, and a great tackle there by Gavin Miller on the outside for Chip Hills.
Yeah, Gorchevich right there is doing his best Gage Todd impression. Lowers his shoulder, trying to get those extra yards. Good job by the Cardinal defender right there to wrap up at the legs.
It'll be 3rd down and 8 from the 38-yard line. Big Rapids hoping to get a first down here to keep this drive moving. Have had a couple good, convincing drives that have ended in turnovers. Alley takes a snap, looking to pass, throws right side. Kidder, who had 2 men beat just on his heels. The pass is maybe a yard too far, and that'll bring up 4th down and 8 in their own territory. I'd have to imagine you'll see a punt here.
Right there, Kidder got behind the safety, and that's what you want if you're running a pass play. If he's got the safety beat, he's got everybody beat. And just overthrows him just a step too far.
So Gorchevich and Alley deep on the punt team here. Never know which one's going to get it, but you usually see some sort of rugby punt. Will be Logan Davis back to return for Chip Hills. It will be Alley. He strolls right, has a low bouncing kick that rolls across the 30, and Davis picks it up last second, and a good safety tackle there by Austin Venix, who came from behind.
Nothing bad happened there, thankfully, for Davis. But I have a feeling when he goes to that sideline, his coach is going to tell him, leave that ball next time. A ball that's bouncing like that and you have defenders all around you, you don't really want to be the one who has to pick that hot potato up. That's how you get hit. That's how you fumble. That's how mistakes happen.
Every team has different words they use for that type of play right there. Sometimes the punt return team just yells, fire, get away from it. So Davis quickly back in on offense. Handoff straight up the middle from the wing tee as some aggressive blocking downfield from Chip Hills. Will only end up in about a 3-yard gain. Brings up 2nd down and 7 to go.
Good run right there. First, they might have only gotten 3 yards, but it was a big push to get those 3 yards right there.
You can tell both these teams coming out with energy tonight. Both these teams want that first win on their record. Both these teams have faced some really tough talent, the hardest that the CSAA Gold has really had to offer in the most recent years. Davis, fake handoff to the right now, and Miller will pick up a chunk that brings up 3rd down and short. About 3rd down and maybe 2 yards to go. 6:10 left on the clock in the second quarter. It's a 6-0 lead for the Warriors over the Cardinals.
Davis under center, turns around, hands it off, running around the left side. Now it's Gage Todd. Gage Todd finds the edge. Gage Todd over midfield, and he gets brought down there.
So Todd gets the handoff left side, gets all the way up to the 30-yard line. That'll be a 1st and 10. 5:45 left on the clock. That's where it stops. The clock as a chain gang move. Sorry for some technical difficulties there. A long run for Gage Todd, who has basically been the face of this offense and this defense as well, coming up in that secondary for some interceptions. But he has a lengthy run there. It's 1st down and 10 from the 27-yard line. So snap, handoff, straight up the middle. Some aggressive blocking again. But he actually got out of the pile and was brought down later by a few more Cardinals. There was people just shoving the pile there, and it was Chad Sheldon on the handoff who somehow just found his way out of that pile.
Chad Shelton might have gotten credit for that rush right there, but that was set by Todd. He gets hit into the pile, and Todd comes from behind him and pushed him about another 3 to 4 yards. Even when he doesn't have the ball in his hands, he's running hard downhill.
So Chip Hills back up to the line. They're sticking with that wing T formation. Davis under center. Takes the snap, couple fake handoffs. He's rolling right, looking to pass. He'll throw. He's got a man wide open, and it's caught in the end zone for a touchdown. That's Troy Mount, the senior tight end, who finds the end zone, and all of a sudden the Warriors have a 12-0 lead.
He's able to sneak behind Xavier Prince right there, who I didn't even realized that he had run a route. He was set up at tight end, and he came out and ran a little bit of a corner route to the pylon and got behind the safety, and easy pitch and catch right there for the touchdown.
3 dropped passes last week for Troy Mount, but not now. He finds the end zone with a Davis pass for a touchdown. So the snap is down, the kick is up. It's a low one, but it is good and through. So 13-0, 4:37 left in the second quarter. Still a lot of football left to play, and we'll have it for you again after 30 seconds on Big Country 100.9.
Hey, folks, it's your favorite announcer, Harry Carey, with Sam's Disposal. I just wanted to remind you that Sam's Disposal is the area's leader in garbage service. Hey, they have flat rates and no contracts with no hidden fees. Call Sam's today at 796-2952. Cubs win. Cubs win. Hey, everybody, I heard the moon was made of Swiss cheese.
So 4:37 left on the clock, and Chip Hills already set and kicked away. And that kick went out of bounds, so it looks like they will line back up and re-kick. Thought we might have missed that kickoff coming out of that commercial, but they decided to kick it out of bounds and give us another chance. Riley Edwards alongside Spencer Tynan here on Big Country 100.9 from the Isabella Bank Sports Studios. We have 4:37 left in this first half. It's been a very interesting first half of football, and we'll have even more talk about it when it comes to the Big Rapids Public Schools halftime report. So after that 4:37 on the clock is gone, make sure you stick around for that halftime report. 13-0, the lead for the Warriors, and the second kick much better than the first, as Jamal Strickland will pick it up around the 25-yard line. Runs left, hesitates. He's got a hole across the 40. He's across midfield. One man to beat. He's got some blocking, and he will be upended just shy of the 20-yard line. Nearly a kick return to the house for Jamal Strickland. He had the open field in front of him, and he gunned it straight through the hole.
And that's Exhibit 1A right there. If why Reed City would not kick him the ball last week. Right there, just goes around the edge, and he had daylight. And you see the speed. He beat the entire coverage team right there. Everybody but the kicker was left in the dust.
Not only would they not kick it to Jamal Strickland last week at Reed City, they wouldn't even kick it to the same side of the field as Jamal Strickland last week in Reed City. 13-0, the lead for the Warriors. Cardinals trailing with 4:27 left in this first half. But after the big kick return by Jamal Strickland, they have it 1st and 10 at the Chip Hills 23. Gorchevich in motion from left to right. He'll take it, cuts up field, and he will fall across the 20, and they will give him that 20-yard line. Brings up 2nd down and about 6 to go.
Chip Hill's doing a good job of getting Gorchevich at the ankles. They don't want to hit him in the shoulder pads because he will run you right over and keep on moving about his day. Doing a good job of going low on him and wrapping up and bringing him down for minimal gains.
4 minutes flat left on the clock here in the second quarter, and the Cardinals rush up to the line. 2nd down and 6 from the 19-yard line. Alley in the gun, running back to his left. One receiver to the right. Snap, handoff. Gorchevich up the middle. He's got some room across the 10, breaks a tackle. He's in for a Cardinals touchdown. That's a big touchdown with just about 3.5 minutes left before they go to halftime. Could cut this lead in half with an extra point here.
Good, patient run by Gorchevich right there. He hesitates, waits for his blockers to kind of establish themselves, and then he just hit the hole and went right up the middle for that touchdown. It's a big 2-point conversion right here for the Cardinals, because if they get this, then the next time they score, it won't matter if they get the PAT or not. They could potentially have the lead on their next scoring attempt if they go for 2.
And a timeout for Big Rapids here, so they will converse about what's going to happen on this extra point attempt. It's 13-6. Warriors leading the Cardinals as we're nearing halftime. Make sure you stick around for the Big Rapids Public Schools halftime show. Myself and Spencer will have some analysis for you at the half, maybe some things to look for in that second half, because besides a few turnovers, this has been a very exciting first half of football.
Yeah, so far this has been pretty good game. We've seen a lot of fireworks already, a couple interceptions, a couple fumbles, some big plays for both teams. And if you're the Cardinals right now, you're happy that you scored before the half to get this lead down. They're going to get the ball back to start the second half, which is huge for them. If their defense can stay strong here when the Warriors get the ball back, there's a potential that they can have a nice 14-point swing in their favor.
You mentioned stuff being huge for them. Well, I want to mention something that's huge for us. Some of our sponsors for tonight's game, Isabella Bank, since 1903, has been lending a hand in support of area schools, service, and civic organizations to make our community a better place. Bank local, bank anywhere, member FDIC. The snap down, the kick is up and good from Ali, a guy who's dual sporting this year, also on that soccer team, able to kick it straight through the uprights, so they do cut that lead in half. 13-7, and Chip Hills will get the ball with 3:40 left when we come back after this 30-second break on Big Country 100.9.
Hi, my name is Dr. Rachel Williams. I just opened a new family practice clinic, Williams Family Medical. I see all types of patients from birth to geriatrics. I came back to Big Rapids because I grew up in Big Rapids. I have roots here, my family is here, my parents are here, and I feel really strongly about serving this community. I originally thought I was going to be a physical therapist. I had looked at being a pharmacist, and then I realized as I looked into those programs that nothing held my attention the way that medicine did, of being the doctor. And being able to go to an area like Big Rapids, where I've worked in other rural health clinics, and being the doctor in a small area.
Tiger Field, 3:40 left on the clock, 13-7. Warriors leading the Cardinals as Ali, a little pooch kick straight up the middle. It'll be picked up right side by Gage Todd. He slows down, a little bit of hesitation, cuts left and will be brought down just at the 35-yard line. 1st and 10, that's where the Warriors will take over. A good way to score there. Gorchevich getting some open space and a nice little touchdown run, but also cutting that lead in half, nearing the locker room. They were able to make that score right before halftime at Reed City, but by that point, it was too far gone. Now they have some fuel, at least coming on to defense here, getting a nice little break. Maybe could turn some stuff around with the last 3.5 minutes of this first half.
This defensive series right here for the Cardinals could be the most important defensive series of the game for them.
Davis under center. Hard count, takes the snap, hands it off to the right side, and the Cardinal making a great tackle. That's Justin Gorchevich, who got his shoe just as he was flying past. It'll still be a 7-yard gain and brings up 2nd down and 3. And Grant Kidder coming off the field, favoring that left ankle. Actually hasn't even stepped on it since we looked at him. So the training crew looking at him. Hopefully he's all right. Close enough to halftime. We'll have a little bit of time to give it a rest. Davis under center, wing T. He'll keep it himself. The bootleg working again. He's across the 45, across midfield into Cardinal territory. He's chased out of bounds by Xander Prince, and that'll be a 1st down for Chip Hills. He gets out of bounds, stops the clock with 2:54 left in this first half.
If you're a D-end, you cannot lose contain. Cannot. And right there, the D-end crashes down, thinking that the ball's been handed off inside. Clears up a lot of room to run for Davis to run the naked bootleg.
So after the 1st down, they'll start at the 40-yard line, 1st and 10, 2:45. Handoff left to Todd. He puts his shoulder down and runs through Jamal Strickland. He's brought down by Xander Prince and Austin Venix on the left side. He gets about 5 yards on that power run to the left, brings up 2nd down and 5.
And on handoffs to Todd tonight, those 5-yard gains are pretty much the worst-case scenario. Or excuse me, the best-case scenario, I mean to say. He's been breaking off some big plays today. Those 5-yard runs are manageable.
From the wing T, handoff right side. This one will be close to the 1st down marker as the Cardinals bring him down at the 32-yard line. So it'll be 3rd down and about 2 to go. Clock rolling down here. 2 minutes left to play in the first half. Davis under center. Handoff straight up the middle, and the defensive front is there to take him off his feet. It was a fullback run straight up the middle. Give a ton of credit there to DJ Green Bay and Austin Manicky.
Huge fourth down right here for both teams. The Warriors get this. They do still have all 3 of their timeouts, and they will be within the 30-yard line if they pick up the first. For the Cardinals, they make the stop here, then they're down 6 points heading to the locker room getting the ball.
Hate to leave people out on some of those big plays, but on third and very short, Cole Higgins did a great job, the junior defensive lineman, of getting through that line and making sure Chip Hills wasn't gaining any yardage. And waiting till about 1:07 left on the clock, but that's where Chip Hills will take their first time out of this second half, trying to use the rest of this clock up and not give Big Rapids another chance, especially the way Jamal Strickland nearly took that kick return back to the house and gave them an easy shot at a touchdown. 13-7, Chip Hills leading Big Rapids. And boy, are we going to have a lot of stuff to talk about at halftime. The Big Rapids Public Schools halftime report. It'll be right here from the Isabella Banks Sports Studio on Big Country 100.9. Some turnovers for Big Rapids that could have definitely changed this game. A couple of interceptions from Sam Alley. Have to look at the effect that Gage Todd has had on this game for Chip Hills. And also the switch to the wing tee early on, and that's basically been what the offense has been for Chip Hills in this first half.
The switch to the wing tee has been big for Chip Hills. They weren't scoring. They weren't even moving the ball before the switch. After the switch, they've gotten 2 touchdowns and a lot of big plays.
Well, combined between these teams last week, just 2 touchdowns in the second half. As there's a big tackle in the backfield, Gage Todd brought down by linebacker Austin Venix, and that'll be a turnover on downs. Teams will switch possession with 1:01 left on the clock. Now, we do have to remember Big Rapids took a couple timeouts in that first quarter. They took one before that extra point on their last touchdown, making sure they had everything on the right page. But they have about 60 yards to go and a minute left on the clock with 1 timeout.
They probably, I don't know if they'll try to run for a big play or let Alley maybe throw once for a big play, but I imagine these first and second down, they're going to try for something big, and if they don't hit on it, then they'll just probably run out the clock and take it into half.
A lengthy conversation between Mike Seltzer and Sam Alley as they're on the field. Some play calling going on here. 1:01 left on the clock. Official in the far back stating this play clock. This is a handoff. Jack Cooley. He's got some room to the left, and he's brought down after a first down. So with 54 seconds left, that will stop the clock as the chain gang moves. Jack Cooley, leading rusher on last year's team. Didn't see him the first 2 weeks for some off-the-field issues, and now he's back. Gets them to the 45 in Chip Hills territory, first down and 10. 50 seconds left in the second quarter, and Big Rapids getting back up to the line.
Got to get up to the line quick here. Clock is run as the gang is set. Now you got to get up to the line and snap this ball. 42 seconds, time ticking.
A quick play call. They went no huddle. They're up at the line. 37 seconds. Alley in the gun, running back to his right. 2 wide receivers left. And after some time ticked off the clock there with 32 seconds left, the final timeout will be taken by Mike Seltzer in this offense. You could tell, trying to hurry up at the end of this quarter, some miscommunication in the play callings, not just between Alley and Seltzer, but also you could see that offensive line taking a look back, trying to figure out what to do as well.
Yeah, you can't shoot yourself in the foot right here, trying to drive to get a score before half. Right there, 24 seconds by my count, ran off the clock in between when they got the first down and when they finally called the timeout, and that's just too much time. That's 2-3 plays worth of time that is wound off the clock now.
Clock stopped at 54 seconds left in this first half when the chains moved. Timeout was taken with 32 seconds left, which is what we're currently left with in this first half. So 13-7, Chip Hills leading Big Rapids, and the Cardinal offense running back onto the field. It's misting here at Top Taggart Field from the press box. We can see it in the lights. The cheerleaders in front for Big Rapids, all in ponchos. Back on the field, whistles blow, first down and 10. Gorchevich in motion from left to right. He takes it. He's got some room on the outside across the 40. Block, and he's dragged out of bounds. Another big tackle there by Gavin Miller, and nearly a block in the back penalty on Big Rapids there. But if the flag's thrown, did it really happen? And he gets out of bounds, stops the clock with 26 seconds left in this first half.
Smart play there by Gorchevich. He could have cut up, maybe gotten 5 more yards, but he would have been tackled inbounds, and then the clock would be running. Instead, he sacrifices, gets out of bounds quickly.
2 wide receivers split out on each side. The running back to the left of Alley. He rolls left. Now looks back right, makes a man miss in the backfield, and he throws towards Jamal Strickland, and it goes off the hands of Gavin Miller. Wouldn't have been an interception. Both the guys were out of bounds anyways. Stops the clock with 18 seconds left in this first half.
Yeah, Alley rolls left there and is looking for Venix, I believe, and he's covered, so then he has to roll back, escapes a would-be tackler, makes him fall. Comes back around the other way, and nothing there either, just kind of to throw the ball out of bounds.
It was a nice, quick change of direction, and that defensive lineman that got that pressure in that backfield, especially with maybe this turf being a little slippery because of the rain, had no chance to catch up to Alley.
Let's give the credit to Alley. He put the moves on right.
He did. He really did. Wide receiver split on each side. Motion from right to left. It'll be a handoff towards the left, and Prince will get across the first down. Stops the clock with 12 seconds left. Mike Seltzer calling to clock it. Have to remember, clock stops when the chains move. So Alley in the gun, waiting for that whistle to be blown. And there it is, the snap, and it is clocked with it looked like maybe 7 seconds left, maybe another second coming off the clock, but it will be 6 seconds left. So this more than likely will be the last play of this first half.
A little slow on the play clock there, it looked like, but yeah, an extra second did tick down, but 6 seconds, 7 seconds, probably not going to make much of a difference here as the clock's going to run down regardless. This will probably be the last play right here. And if I had to guess, they're going to put Jamal Strickland out wide and hope for a one-on-one situation where they can kind of throw it up and let the highest jumper win.
Do have to clarify the Prince running the ball in the last play, Xavier Prince, not Xander Prince. Number 20, not number 15. Just trying to give credit where credit's due. As wide receivers, 3 of them out to the left, including Prince, Venix, Gorchevich.
It doesn't look like they're going to have safety help over top of Strickland.
Alley.
Got the one-on-one.
He's throwing towards Jamal Strickland. It's one-on-one and picked off at the goal line. No time left. They're returning it across the 10, the 20, a couple blocks, and just tripped up at the 30-yard line. That's where Miller will go down, and that's where this first half will end with Alley's 3rd interception of the first half. 13-7, Warriors lead Cardinals as the teams go to the locker room. We'll take a break. We'll come back for the Big Rapids Public Schools halftime report. And we're going to have a lot to talk about, so you won't want to miss it. We'll take a break, and we'll be back with more coverage here on Big Country 100.9.
Home is where the heart is. Since 1903, we've called the heart of Michigan our home. When you bank with us, your money stays right here, invested back into the communities where we work, play, and live, promoting economic community service. At Isabella Bank, we care about our community because this is our home too. Isabella Bank. Bank local, bank anywhere. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Auto Owners Insurance and the Schuberg Insurance Agency is a winning combination. We'll work for you to insure your home, auto, business, and life. To keep everything you value safe, sound, and secure. Auto Owners Insurance, the no-problem people. Call the Schuberg Insurance Agency, located in downtown Big Rapids today, for a fast, free quote. 231-796-5881. Go Cards.
They say lightning doesn't strike twice, but they were wrong.
I can't believe my car's struck by lightning twice. Now it doesn't start again.
Thankfully, the NEPA-certified techs at Johnson's Automotive in Big Rapids can fix electrical systems and starters, so our hero can get back on the road quickly.
Wow, it's almost like a total recall. Thankfully, I don't have to be a running man anymore.
Johnson's Automotive, fixing all foreign and domestic vehicles. Northland Drive, just south of the airport, Big Rapids.
Go the extra mile with Bader & Sons Company and the unstoppable John Deere Gator XUV 835. When other utility vehicles take a rain check, we help you take the wheel and enjoy the thrill of the ride. With factory-installed 3-wide seating, heating, and AC, the XUV 835 is our coolest, most comfortable Gator yet. Isn't it time you took a John Deere Gator for a test drive? To learn more, go to greentractors.com. From Southeast Michigan to the bridge, let the experts at Bader & Sons Company show you why we are outstanding in our field.
Not everyone learns best in a classroom or has the time or resources to attend a school. If you're one of those people, the Big Rapids Virtual School is your path to graduate high school. The virtual school uses new and emerging technologies, allowing students to work towards their diploma anytime, any place, any way, and any pace. Available 24 hours, 7 days a week, students can access class materials, listen to lectures, complete assignments. Plus, the lab is available 39 hours per week where students can work and ask teachers for help. For more information about Big Rapids Virtual School,
your car's transmission. It can be your best friend or your worst nightmare. One day you're cruising along without a care in the world. The next day your car is about as mobile as a big old hog on a hot summer day. Thankfully, the Napa certified techs at Paris Auto Sales and Service of Big Rapids specialize in fixing and rebuilding transmissions. They'll make sure your car runs so smooth you'd think it was a pickup line from Patrick Swayze. Paris Auto Sales and Service of Big Rapids, Northland Drive, just north of the airport. Schedule your appointment online at parisautosales.br.net.
Hey, everybody! Harry Carey here for Talk Trash. Our first guest is Ben from Sam's Disposal. So, Ben, why haven't you raised your rates in over 10 years? It seems to be all the rage now.
Well, Mr. Carey, that's a great question. You see, my father Sam always said...
Sam? Now that's a great name. I once knew a man named Sam Toothpick Jones. They called him Toothpick because he was curious like a cat. Say, have you ever seen the movie Son of Sam?
Yeah, actually.
It is a great show. Well, anyway, that's neither here nor there. Hey, Ben, tell me, how do you stay in business with flat rates without any hidden fees? Seems like all your competitors always stick it to you when you don't see it coming.
Now, that's another great question, Harry.
Well, that's the time we have for today. Thanks for joining us, Ben, with Sam's Disposal. It sounds like a swell company. Do you pick up in heaven? I might have to give you a call. See you next time for Talk Trash, folks. Don't forget to call Sam 796-2952. Cubs win. Cubs win.
This just out, the average age of a vehicle on the road today is just over 11 years. That's impressive because it takes regular maintenance and solid repair work to keep a vehicle running well that long. At Quality Car and Truck Repair, that's what we do. We keep vehicles running their best for as long as possible. We're still changing oil, performing regular maintenance, and doing repairs on vehicles much older than that. Keep your vehicle in shape. Call Quality Car and Truck Repair, 220th Avenue and Perry, just west of 131, Big Rapids.
Hi, my name is Dr. Rachel Williams. I just opened a new family practice clinic, Williams Family Medical. I see all types of patients from birth to geriatrics. I came back to Big Rapids because I grew up in Big Rapids. I have roots here, my family is here, my parents are here, and I feel really strongly about serving this community. I originally thought I was going to be a physical therapist. I had looked at being a pharmacist, and then I realized as I looked into those programs that nothing held my attention the way that medicine did, of being the doctor. And being able to go to an area like Big Rapids, where I've worked in other rural health clinics, and being the doctor in a small area is a great way to serve the community. But there's also an intimacy that you get when you're somebody's doctor and you know them, and you know their family, and you know their history. It's a good way to make friends, you know? I am Dr. Rachel Williams. I opened a family medicine clinic here in downtown Big Rapids. You can call us at 616-570-4776. Find us on Facebook with Williams Family Medical or online williamsfamilymedical.com.
This is Cardinal Country. We have Josie Prince, joined by Braeden Childress, Coach Ian James of Fair State Softball.
Players, coaches, alumni. Coach Scarpelli gets the inside scoop on all things Big Rapids sports.
We get to go to my favorite sport. You decided you want to come out for baseball. So why did you want to come out for baseball senior year?
To be honest, because we lost to Reed City last game of basketball. So I couldn't go out with an L to them on my belt. Then that moves forward to my favorite game in baseball would be against them when I hit that home run.
Yep.
Their players were talking mess, which I didn't know people talk mess in baseball, but the players were talking mess to me. And then I came out and hit a home run. So
watch Cardinal Country on Big Country's YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram. Download the podcast at WBRN.com, at Spotify, and on Apple Podcasts. Cardinal Country is proudly sponsored by Johnson's Automotive, serving the area with honesty and integrity.
Tonight spent.
But Chip Hills, Big Rapids, obviously, and then Tri-County versus Fremont. Only game that's not happening in the CSAA Gold is Newaygo versus Grant, and that's because Grant had positive COVID tests. They were supposed to play Fremont last week after the test, but Fremont picked up Ludington in week 2. Fremont would lose that game 41-22, but because Fremont was able to find a different opponent, that allowed Grant to not take a forfeit for that week. Why is that so big? Well, that's because the MHSAA requires that you play at least 4 games in this season to be eligible for the playoffs. And now, with the last 2 weeks not having games, this week and the week before for Grant, they're having to play the final 3 games of the season for sure if they want to get into the playoffs. So a tough decision there for Grant. They suspended all football operations until October 8th. They were supposed to play Newaygo tonight. Newaygo has not found an opponent for this week, at least to our knowledge, so it looks like Grant will have to take that forfeit. Grant's not the only team that's happened to, though. September 24th, there's actually been 22 teams across the state that couldn't play week 1, and then last week during week schools, 11 schools across the state who couldn't play because of positive tests as well. So we hope everybody in that Grant program over there is doing well and they can get back to the field soon. It hasn't knocked out just their varsity, also their JV, and like I said, shut down all football operations till October 8th.
Yeah, if you're in this league, I'm sure that some of these parents listening today have probably played in these high school games and have played against Grant and maybe feel the type of way about them, but you never wish ill will on anybody or any opponent for that matter, and really hope that all of them can get back healthy and play football soon, because you know that these high school kids, all they've wanted to do is just play sports. They've been out for how long now, just locked in quarantine, locked in the house. They don't want to be doing that anymore. They want to be out with their friends, hitting people, making big plays, and it's sad that Grant doesn't get to do that because of this thing that's happening right now in our country.
Well, going from some negative news with Grant to some more positive news, the MHSAA allowing more fans in these upcoming weeks. The updated policy will go into effect on October 9th, which will allow more fans. The MHSAA announced this Wednesday, any school hosting an outdoor venue with fixed seating can increase its number of attendance to 30% of its maximum capacity. And for Big Rapids, playing a home game at 30% of its maximum capacity, playing at Top Taggart Field here at Ferris State University, 30% of a 6,200 capacity. That means that Ferris State's Big Rapids is allowed 1,860 fans into this stadium for this game. So that should at least get, hopefully, the friends and families covered of these players, and then allow some others to come to these games and support the Cardinals.
Yeah, I mean, there's 30 guys on the Big Rapids team. That's 60 people invite per player? I mean,
actually, they get 2 per player and 2 per coach as well, and I believe the cheerleaders also get 2 as well.
Saying with the upgrade.
With the upgrade, I think all of that is covered. Still haven't seen a band yet. Those are still some interesting rules to read up about. Only certain areas have been allowed to have their bands along with them.
I'm sure it'll go venue by venue as well, as each high school makes their own rules to how they feel comfortable. 30 is obviously the maximum, not the minimum, so teams can still choose to go under that number.
Also, indoor athletics getting a bump up in their capacity, too. They get moved up to 20% of a 500 maximum capacity event. So that's good to hear for pretty much everybody who's trying to watch some high school sports. Maybe some less viewers from us on the Facebook stream, some less listeners on the radio stream. But whatever makes the people happy, that's what we'll roll with. And speaking of making people happy, that's about the end of the Big Rapids Public Schools halftime report. We have 12 minutes up on the clock, and Chip Hills is about to kick away. It would be Jamal Strickland, Justin Gorchevich, who are standing around the 15-yard line to take this one back. As the officials still getting onto the field, everybody gets set up, and they say, hey, you guys have to switch sides. So Chip Hills will move from 40 to 40, and Big Rapids will have to flip here. So 12 minutes up on the clock. We're still waiting for that to get rolling. 13-7 the score, with the Warriors leading, as We're getting ready to yard more than he needs, so give him 2 yards on the run. That'll move the chains. It's first down and 10 from the 48-yard line. So they're into Chip Hills territory. They're down by 6 points. This could be a very big drive here to start off the second half.
Yeah, you like to see that first down right there. No 3-and-outs. Can't have a 3-and-out right now.
Clock ticking, 9:40 left in this third quarter. The snap, handoff, left side, Xavier Prince. He's grabbed by Todd, and he's slowed up just enough for basically that entire Warriors defense to catch up to him. He'll lose a yard. That'll bring up second down and 11.
A little bit of a mistake right there by Xavier. If he had just planted his foot in the ground, he probably could have gained 3 or 4 yards right there. He had a hole on the outside in between the tackle and the split end. But instead he tries to bounce it around the split end, and Todd comes off the block and ends up making a tackle for a loss of about a yard.
So in the gun, Alley running back to his right. Hands it off up the middle, and Jack Cooley may have ran into the back of one of his offensive linemen, but he hits the ground hard. Gets about a 5-yard gain. That'll bring up third down and about 6 to go. Grant Kidder up on the sideline, running back and forth, testing out that ankle. We'll see if he comes back into the game. So third down, about 6 to go from the 45-yard line. In Chip Hill territory, Alley in the gun, Cooley to his right. Has 2 tight ends and 1 wide receiver split left. So he'll fake the handoff. He'll keep it himself, and he's running and will just run out of bounds at the 50. And that's a loss of about 5 yards. So there goes the gain that Cooley just had on first down. And that will bring up fourth down and 12 to go.
Yeah, this is a little bit disappointing right there. You're going to have to punt the ball away. Alley right there, because it was a designed run play, I don't even think he realized he had this option. Because he was outside of the tackles, he could have potentially thrown the ball straight out of bounds and negated any loss, which would have made it a fourth and manageable. Although you're not always aware of that, especially as a high school quarterback, and ends up having to just accept the loss.
The snap is bobbled. Gorchevich will pick it up. He'll still get the punt away, and it's a pretty nice punt. Across the 25 and went out around the 20-yard line. And they will mark this at about the 23-yard line. 7:41 left on the clock in this third quarter. A 13-7 lead for Chip Hills over Big Rapids. And a drive that started out looking promising for Big Rapids ends in another punt. So Chip Hills will take over first and 10 at the 23-yard line. Ran that wing tee for most of the first half, making an adjustment that worked and got them in the end zone twice.
Yeah, let's look to see how much this wing tee works the second half now that Big Rapids has seen it.
Davis takes the snap, and it's a handoff right side. Cooley in there jarring for the ball. He's also helped out by that defensive front, more specifically Cole Higgins, who we've called a few times. He'll hold on to the ball, and that will go for about 6 yards. So second down and 4 from the 29-yard line for Chip Hills. You have to notice on every one of these runs for Chip Hills, the running backs or the ball carrier never stops chopping those feet. They want that gain as much as they can get, and contrary to that, the defensive front trying to do the same thing back. Davis takes the snap. He'll hand it off up the middle, and there's some big yardage for Chip Hills, and that'll be Xavier Prince coming down from that safety position and bringing him down to the 49-yard line. That'll move the chains. It'll be first and 10 from the Chip Hills 49, so still trying to get across midfield. But that was one of those designed wing tee plays, a fullback handoff right up the middle, and sometimes just doesn't get detected.
Yeah, Chad Sheldon right there. I lost him in the pile for a minute. Then all of a sudden he bursts out of there, and good on Xavier to make the tackle right there that probably saved a touchdown.
Chad Sheldon, we've only called his name about one other time, but he got that big gain up the middle. This will be a handoff to Todd, left side, and brought down after maybe a gain of a yard. Brings up second down and still about 10 to go, so they'll put him back at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, one of the few times right there where Todd didn't even get a gain on the play.
6.5 minutes left to play in the third quarter. A 13-7 lead for Chip Hills over Big Rapids. This Warriors offense has just been grinding on the ground, just trying to grind out any yardage they can get. And Chip Hills has held them to, Big Rapids held them to 13 points in that first half as there's a fumble in the backfield. Davis missed the handoff. He was able to hop onto it, but not before a loss of about 6 yards.
Yeah, it looked like he was, I don't know if he was trying to fake the pitch or make the pitch, but just could not hold on to the ball, just slipped right through his fingertips, found the turf. Good on him, though, to turtle it up and jump right on top of it.
Ball will be placed at the 44-yard line, still in their own territory. That makes it 3rd down and 15. After a long run that gave them a 1st and 10 from the 49-yard line. Didn't think they'd be in this scenario. Snap, and it will be a bootleg. It's a pass and dropped. Troy Mount, we mentioned him, catch that first pass for a touchdown in that second quarter. He had 3 drops last week against Central Montcalm. Was able to haul in the first one here today, but that one hit him right in the chest and fell to the turf.
Yeah, that had potential to be a big play, too. He only had one man to beat. He had the smaller Xavier Prince behind him, who has shown a penance for making these one-on-one tackles over. That's not a guarantee. And if he was able to beat Xavier, he could have had the first down and more.
So here comes the punt formation. Jamal Strickland will be crashing from the end here as he gets back there and forces Miller to run this punt. Xavier Prince will trip him up at about the 45-yard line. He falls out of bounds and marked at the 47, and a great play there by the punt defense team for Big Rapids.
Tackle right there is made by Xavier Prince. However, the play is made by Jamal Strickland, who came off the edge and was going to block the punt if he had attempted to kick it. He had to pull it down and go around the outside and try to get it with his legs. Got an Xavier right there to make another one-on-one tackle.
Jamal Strickland got back there untouched. We saw him unleash that speed on that kick return. Well, he did the same exact thing there, was just trying to zero in on the punter. So 1st down and 10 from the 47-yard line. They're already starting in Chip Hills territory. The snap, handoff up the middle. Gorchevich gets across the 45. Give him a couple extra yards. Put him at about the 43-yard line. 2nd down and 6 from there. 5 minutes left to go in this third quarter. 13-7. Chip Hills still leading. So no scoring in the first half. All 3 touchdowns combined scored in this game coming in the second half. And we've gotten through more than half of this third quarter and still haven't seen a score.
Yeah, you're right. All touchdowns were scored in the second quarter there. So perhaps a little bit of halftime jitters. Can't quite get it in here in the third, but we'll see if Big Rapids can put an end to that streak.
Hand off to Jack Cooley. Left side, he'll push across the 40-yard line. They'll actually mark him a yard short. Put him at the 41. That brings up 3rd down. And about 5 to go. Well, if they didn't score the first quarter, scored the second, if they're not going to score in this third quarter, we have to start thinking about if history is going to repeat itself, because that means we're in for some fireworks in the final phase of this game. Still 4 minutes left in this third quarter, and Big Rapids faced with a big 3rd down. 4 yards to go from the 41-yard line. Alley in the gun. He's got Cooley to his left. 2 wide receivers left as it's a handoff up the middle to Cooley. He's met by a couple Warriors. He gets about 3 yards, and he's short by maybe a half a yard. That brings up 4th down and very short. Thirteen to 7, Warriors still leading the Cardinals. 3.5 minutes left in this third quarter. And Alley lining up to go for it on 4th down. He takes the snap, and he runs straight forward, and he will, well, some confusion on the field. Chip Hills players pointing their way. BR players pointing their way. They might have to have the chains come out and look at this one. From up here, it looks like they've got him maybe a half yard more than he needs, and they will signal for the chains to move. So the clock stops with 3:19 left to play in this third quarter. It'll be 1st down and 10 from the 37-yard line in Warrior territory.
I thought for sure they were going to bring out the chain gang there to really make sure, but the refs on the field see it as a clear 1st down, and they move them up.
It's the 3rd time we've seen that quarterback dive in this game, and 2 out of the 3 attempts have been successful for what they need it to be. That's those first down conversions, or those third down conversions. As handoff to Gorchevich, goes wide right and then tries to cut it upfield. He gets across the 35, mark him down at the 36. 2nd down and 7 to go.
Similar play design right there to Gorchevich touchdown run, and you're hoping that he can do a similar thing right here. Gorchevich is a guy that you want to get moving downhill, because if he does, he can make an impact on the linebackers, to say the least.
Ball on the 34-yard line, 2nd down and 7 to go for Big Rapids from there. 2:25 left on the clock. Alley takes a snap, hands it off. Cooley left side. He's brought down after about a 2-yard gain. Brings up 3rd down and about 5 to go. So 2 minutes, 15 seconds left on the clock. Down by 6, the Cardinals trying to finish out this drive. Haven't seen them finish many besides the possession where Jamal Strickland got them in great field position to start towards the end of that first half.
And Cardinals have pieced some first downs together right here to start the second half, and you want them to get into the red zone before the quarter ends.
3rd and 4. Snap to Alley. He'll take it himself. He runs right side. He's got some room. Tries to cut across. Falls across the 20. Mark him down at the 21. Chains will move. Clock stops with 1:38 left. And Sam Alley, another successful 3rd down conversion run.
Sam Alley right there gets them into the red zone.
So a very long drive for Big Rapids, and still a minute and a half left in this 3rd quarter. But they're in the red zone. Haven't seen them here many times tonight. 13-7, the lead for the Warriors. Cardinals trying to erase that deficit. Wide receiver split out wide left. That's Austin Venix. Snap to Alley. Handed off up the middle to Gorchevich, and he's met by a few linebackers with about a minute and 5 left to play.
And nothing really going there. Good penetration by the Warriors to hold Gorchevich to a very short gain. They haven't called a pass play yet in this quarter. I'd be interested to see if Alley right here on 2nd and 10, you give him the go-ahead to maybe throw it.
Chilly night for football, but it looks beautiful from up here in the press box. Light shining down, and the moon just peeking out above the end zone to our right. 35 seconds left in this 3rd quarter. Alley has a wide receiver on each side, takes a snap, handoff, Cooley up the middle, runs over one of his own players. He's grabbed by the jersey and brought down for a few yards gain. That'll bring up 3rd down and about 3 to go. Ball on the 12-yard line, only 15 seconds left to play in this 3rd quarter, and that might have been one of the last plays we'll see.
Yeah, Jack Cooley was, I believe, the leading rusher last year for these Cardinals, if I'm not mistaken. Had to miss the first 2 games because of some off-the-field issues, but they are happy to have him back. They thought he was hurt earlier in the game. He did go down on that fumble in the first half, but now that he's back, he's had a couple nice rushes, and he's running tough downhill.
And that will be the last play of the 3rd quarter, so put 12 minutes back up there. We'll take a 30-second break, and we'll be back with more football here on Big.
Home is where the heart is. Since 1903, we've called the heart of Michigan our home. When you bank with us, your money stays right here, invested back into the communities where we work, play, and live, promoting economic growth and community service. At Isabella Bank, we care about our community because this is our home too. Isabella Bank. Bank local, bank anywhere. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
The final score, or not the final score, the score as we enter the final quarter. Don't want to mess anybody up there. We still have 12 minutes of football left to play here from Top Taggart Field. Riley Edwards, Spencer Tynan with you from Ferris State back at the studio. It's Braeden Childress keeping us on air and greasing the wheels of this whole operation. And Big Rapids getting back to work early. 3rd down, 3 to go from the 12-yard line. Alley in the gun, running back to his left. Takes a snap, handoff. Gorchevich up the middle. He gets to about the 10-yard line. And that's going to be a super close spot to that 1st down marker.
I believe they are going to mark him just short, and if so, on 4th and 1 here, you're going to look for Allie to probably have another keeper.
So it will be 4th down and 1. Mark him at the 10-yard line. And Spencer said it, more than likely going to see that same quarterback dive. Gorchevich and Cooley both out there on the field. And the snap is fumbled by Sam Alley, and he picks it up around the 10-yard line, but he'll only get back to that line of scrimmage, and there's a turnover on downs. In the red zone, 4th down and 1, and out of all the ones they went for on that drive, that was the one they couldn't convert.
Alley had a similar fumble last week where he just starts moving downhill a little bit too fast. Right there, he's already thinking about how he's going to get the first down, where his blockers are going to be. He's not concerned about catching the ball, which is just, I mean, it's something that happens. You know, you just get too excited in the moment, and you just miss that opportunity.
Well, here comes the Chip Hills offense, and the first play, handoff, left side, brought down for about a gain of 4, make it 2nd down and 6. So 2nd down and 6, ball in the 14-yard line with their backs to their end zone. Chip Hills has this ball with 10:45 left in the 4th quarter. Snap, handoff from Davis, left side, and there he is. Gage Todd brought down as he falls across the 45-yard line. Mark him down at the 47, and they're right around midfield, knocking on the door, trying to put up another touchdown.
On the first series for the Warriors, you saw that they were involving Todd right away with pass plays in the first quarter. And ever since then, it's just been the Todd show. He's been all over the map. They've been throwing the ball to him. They've been handing it off to him. And it seems like every time he touches the ball, it's for a big gain. By my count, he's only had 2 rushes of no gain or less.
So the snap, handoff, up the middle, and it's fumbled. It's picked up by Prince. He's across the 40. He's got 2 men to beat, the 30, the 20. Tries to cut back across, and he's brought down at the 15-yard line. That was a play that was close to getting called dead for forward progress, and the ball just popped out. Another handoff up the middle, and somehow Big Rapids comes out with it.
Huge play by Xavier Prince. He just took the ball away from the Warrior running back, and the return on it is going to be, I mean, if Big Rapids scores right here, that's probably the biggest play of the game.
So decisive, or I guess should say decepting, that wing T offense is. I was lost there until I saw the ball on the ground right around the 40-yard line, and that's where Prince picked it up and took off. And there will be a timeout called on the field by Big Rapids. We'll take it along with them. 13-7, Big Rapids getting ready to score right here on Big Country 100.9.
Auto Owners Insurance and the Schuberg Insurance Agency is a winning combination. We'll work for you to insure your home, auto, business, and life. To keep everything you value safe, sound, and secure. Auto Owners Insurance. The no-problem people. Call the Schuberg Insurance Agency, located in downtown Big Rapids, today for a fast, free quote. 231-796-5881. Go Cards.
Clock, 13-7. The Warriors leading the Cardinals, and we saw all of our points scored so far this game in the second quarter. We saw drives back and forth in the first. All 3 of our combined touchdowns coming in the second quarter. None in the third, and now we've made it to the fourth, where Big Rapids in the red zone at the 14-yard line have it 1st and 10. Gorchevich in motion. Alley will take it himself, and he's got room across the 5, and he's hit into the end zone. Touchdown, Cardinals. Wow. That's the Veer offense. Mike Seltzer puts the decision-making in the hands of Sam Alley when he's on the field. He read that play correctly and found a hole in the left side of the offensive line.
Huge decision right there by Alley. Shows the confidence that he has in himself right there. After a fumbling on a quarterback keeper. The last possession right there, he keeps it himself and then drags a man into the end zone who was holding on to his jersey for dear life.
And Alley's back out to kick the extra point here. The extra point will give Big Rapids the lead. The snap is down. The kick is up. And there's a flag on the play before we get to see if it was good or not. It was kicked right down the middle. So the hands from the officials were going up. This is going to be an interesting call here. If it's against Big Rapids and they make you redo this play, do you kick it again? Alley's has a strong leg. The first time we saw him on this varsity team, he came up to help the kicking duties while he was a sophomore, and now
it looks like the official is saying it was a dead ball foul before the kick. So Big Rapids will have to re-kick it regardless.
I don't think there was a ton of people on the field right there that knew what was going on besides those officials. Mike Seltzer has a few words. Now he's back on his sideline, and the ball will move half the distance to the goal, so they'll just re-kick it. So Alley back to kick. The snap, the hold is down, the kick is up, and it just slips in the right upright. That's a 14-13 lead for Big Rapids. This is the first lead they've seen since the first half of the game against Central Montcalm in Week 1. So a good drive there after the takeaway from the defense, and it's a 14-13 Cardinals lead. And now that defense has to come out and repeat what they did on that last drive. Not just taking the ball away, but trying to keep Chip Hills from succeeding on those big plays.
Yeah, with 10 minutes to go in this game, it looks like if I had to guess, I'd say the Warriors are going to get the ball at least 2 more times. Right here, you got to stay focused on series number 1, and that is you got to stand tall right here. Can't break. You can bend. You can let them get to your own 40, your own 30, but you just can't break. Can't allow them to get in that end zone. And if I had to guess, the Warriors will probably be running the ball right here, so look for that time to be ticking down. It's very possible they could run it down to 3 minutes if they get all the way to the end zone.
They did a good job of running down that time at the end of that first half. Well, Big Rapids did. Now, some tough decisions to make if you're Chip Hills, down by 1 point. Like you mentioned, 10 minutes left on the clock in this fourth quarter. Do you score quick? Do you score slow? Do you just try to score at any cost? I mean, you got to get that ball in the end zone. So at this point of the game, that time really, I'm sure, not as big of a factor as than the touchdown. Alley kicks it away. A little pooch kick right side, and it will be fielded at the 30-yard line. And an interesting pick-up and drop there, but his knees were on the ground, probably just assuming he was down. The whistles were blown. Kick was recovered at about the 32-yard line. That's where the Warriors will take over 1st and 10.
It was a pretty interesting play right there because I don't know if he ever had possession of the football for him to be ruled down. He was kind of just fumbling it around.
So the defense comes out on the field for the first time tonight defending a lead. Handoff. No, it'll be a pass downfield, and it's just out of the reach of his receiver. Trying to go downfield there to Donovan Todd, the sophomore, running down the left sideline. Couldn't quite get it there. 10 minutes, 1 second left on the clock in this fourth quarter. 14-13 Cardinals lead.
Trying to get it down to Donovan Todd, who I believe is the brother of Gage, if I am not mistaken.
2nd down and 10 from the 32-yard line from the wing tee. Hand off to Todd. He runs over a Cardinal, but only for about a gain of 2 yards, maybe 1.5 yards. That'll bring up 3rd down and still about 8 yards to go. So 9.5 minutes left on the clock here in the fourth quarter as the Warriors get back up to the line. 3rd down and 8 to go from the 34-yard line. Davis under center. 3 running backs lined up across the 30-yard line behind him. And he will give the delayed handoff right side, and that will be enough for a first down. Once again, you never know where that ball is going, but we haven't called his name much today. Paris Alston, one of the more athletic players on this Chip Hills team, usually finds the ball in his hand. I mean, we've seen him play quarterback this year, running back, wide receiver. It doesn't matter. If there's a position that they need on that offensive side, Paris Alston's usually there. A bit unusual. This is the first time we called his name. So the snap, handoff, Alston up the middle. He'll run forward for about 8 yards, had his arm all the way extended, and they'll give him about 9 yards on this play. So second down and 1 to go. Actually, now that the officials get on the same page, second down and 2 yards to go, they'll mark him at the 49 in Big Rapids territory. So ball in the 49, the snap, handoff, left side. Gage Todd has some room to run. He's open around the 40, across the 35, and he's pushed out of bounds near the 30. That'll stop the clock with 8:29 left. Chains will move. 1st and 10 for the Warriors. They'll put the ball right at the 30-yard line as the chain gang running down there.
You know, a lot today it's been Todd breaking tackles and making plays. But right there, that was just a clear running lane established by the left side of that line and the 2 other running backs in that wing T.
The snap. Fake handoff left. He'll hand it off right. There's Alston again. He's got some room up the middle. He's grabbed by the jersey by DJ Green Bay. He's dragged down for a gain of about 5 yards. Bring up second down and 5.
I haven't heard a lot of Green Bay's name today. We haven't called it as much as we normally do. Normally, Green Bay is a guy who's all over the field affecting every type of play.
7:50 left in the fourth quarter, a 14-13 Cardinals lead. But here come the Warriors, 5 yards away from that red zone. Second down and 5 from the 25-yard line. Snap, handoff. Alston up the middle, and there he stopped. Venix back there, along with a few others, and the ball was on the ground and picked up by a Cardinal. And they will call him down at the 25-yard line, so no gain. It was Sawyer Muse who picked up that loose ball and was running towards the end zone. Now he has a lengthy run back to his defense. So 7:25 left in the game, a 14-13, just 1 point lead for the Cardinals. Third down, 5 yards to go for the Warriors. Alston heading back onto the field after not calling his name too many times, getting an excessive amount of carries here on this drive. From the tee, snap. And it will be a quarterback keeper, and there's Gorchevitz to contain, and there is the defensive front who gets to him, and more importantly, Christian Ramsvig, who makes a nice open field tackle. Justin Gorchevitz doing his job there on the outside and containing that quarterback run.
Yeah, good job to stay home and not fall in on the fake handoffs. He stays outside, keeps contained. And that's what you like to see out of those outside defenders, perimeter guys, those outside backers, DNs, corners. You want them to stay home and make those tackles in space.
6.5 minutes left in the fourth quarter, 14-13. Big Rapids leading. Under center, Davis takes a snap, hands it off right side. Alston will break through a few, and the ball pops up. It's on the turf, and the Cardinals are ecstatic on the field. And this will be a turnover. Paris Alston was short of the first down marker, but right at the last second puts the ball up on a platter to this Big Rapids defense.
Yeah, got ripped right out. Good job on Sam Alley. The quarterback dives right on the football, recovers it, and it'll be Big Rapids football with a chance here to bleed the clock. 6 minutes to go, up a point.
And this is a drive where you want to take a lot of time. You know, drive just like you saw at the end of that first half where they drained some clock and got real close. You just like to punch it in this time to give yourself some security. The snap, handoff up the middle to Cooley, and he'll get about 2 yards, brings up second down and 8. Have to give a big shout-out to some of our sponsors tonight. CL Pizza Company in Canadian Lakes. Get 2 one-topping 14-inch pizzas with breadsticks and a 2-liter of pop for only $29. order for takeout tonight at CL Pizza Co. in Canadian Lakes, 231-359-1341, and online at clpizzaco.com. Big Rapids back up to the line. 5:40 left to play in this game. From the gun is running back to his right. That's Gorchevich. Two wide receivers split wide right, and Cooley sitting in the tight end position to his left. So they're waiting for that play clock to drain down. Alley will take it himself. He cuts up field across the 30, breaks a couple tackles. He's across the 40. He's got a few Warriors on his heels. He gets to the other 40 and runs out of bounds around the 35-yard line, and he ends up on the ground super late near the track on the far side of the field to us. And some Big Rapids fans not too happy there's no flag. Sam Alley himself now pleading with the official saying, hey, he hit me way out of bounds. It was maybe about 3 yards out of bounds from there. But regardless, it'll be a 1st down and 10, and there is a flag extremely late on that play, and it will be unnecessary roughness against the defense.
You saw the head official come over. I think he saw it in the backfield, and he just wanted to make sure and confer with the judge who was closest that that was, in fact, the right call, and he'll throw the flag himself and make the call from.
So Sam Alley had the long run, get the tack 15 yards onto the end of that run, and they are right there, very close to where they ended in that first half, but now they have the chance to run it.
Yeah, with that penalty, that'll put them right at the 20, right in the red zone, and with 5:15 to go, if you're the Cardinals, why not? Well, really have to think about it. Do you want to score here? Do you want to bleed some more time? I would say just score. Let's get some points up, and even if we didn't convert the point after, we'd still be up 7 points.
Clock stopped at 5:15 left in the fourth quarter. It's a 14-13 Cardinals lead over the Warriors. Alley taking a look at the defense, running back to his left, takes a snap. Handoff, Gorchevich, right side, breaks across to about the 15-yard line, and he's brought down by Miller coming up from that safety position, and that brings up 2nd down and 7 to go. I'd like to give another shout-out to Johnson's Automotive Repair, always reliable. Johnson serves the community with honesty and integrity. Northland Drive, just south of the airport, Big Rapids. Also, Sam's Disposal. Stop getting tossed around like trash. Flat rates, no contracts, no extra fees, and if you're not happy, they'll work with you to make it right. Call Sam's Disposal today. Big Rapids back up to the line of scrimmage. That's at the 17-yard line. 7 yards to go for a 1st down here on 2nd down. Alley takes a snap. Handoff, left side, Cooley pushing towards the 10-yard line, and a bunch of Warriors there to make sure he's down. So out of that whole pile of maybe about 7 people, I saw 2 Cardinals and 5 Warriors. You can tell how aggressive they're being. They're trying to force another turnover out of Big Rapids, which has happened 4 times this game. But it's 3rd down and 1 to go on the 11-yard line. Have to hold on to this ball for dear life if you're Big Rapids.
Oh, yeah, cannot have any mishaps. Ball security right here is number 1.
So 3rd down and 1, clock ticking, under 4 minutes left, 3:45 to go in the game. Alley in the gun, Gorchevich to his left, takes the snap, and it's a handoff. Gorchevich right side, he's taken down for a loss of yardage. That'll bring up 4th and 5.
We talked earlier about how Alley has the discretion to do as he pleases for the most part in this game. But right there, I feel like that was a designed run play because otherwise he definitely should have pulled that ball back. The D tackle blew right through the middle there. Gorchevich really didn't even have a chance to get anything going.
We haven't seen a field goal this year yet, but Sam Alley has a boot. Mentioned he's dual sporting, one of a few kids on this team that's dual sporting because originally this season football wasn't here. It was soccer, cross country, whatever else you can get into to keep yourself active during a time like this, but now they're continuing to play both sports. If you're Coach Seltzer here, you're on the 15-yard line. Has to be a huge drive with about 3.5 minutes left for Chip Hills. Do you go for it on 4th and 5, or do you kick that field goal?
I'd say go for it. The field goal doesn't make, I don't think, too much of a difference. The Warriors here don't really have a good field goal kicker themselves, so it's not as if they're going to go down and kick a field goal for the win. So a 1-point lead is just that, a 1-point lead, and it's going to have to be touchdowns to take that back.
The question rises because we've seen Allie kick a few times in the past. Originally, while he was brought up as a sophomore playing on varsity in 2018. Well, we're in the year 2020, and he's the starting quarterback of this Big Rapids offense, and he's out there in the shotgun, has Cooley to his left. Gorchevich split wide out at wide receiver on the left. Jamal Strickland and Xavier Prince on the right side. Snap. He's rolling left. Now cuts back right. He slips, stays up on his feet, running towards the 20-yard line, towards the end zone. Xavier Prince is alone for a touchdown in the corner of the end zone. A big touchdown with 3 minutes and 17 seconds left on the clock for Big Rapids. And they extend their lead 20-13 pending the extra point. There's a flag afterwards. And there was a lot of Cardinals on the field, a lot of Cardinals excited. As I think some of the guys coming onto the field were just trying to and I think there's also a flag thrown on the coach on the sideline. And you know what this is, Spencer? When getting rushed in that backfield, Sam Alley made a quick turn. And from up here, it looked like there was a chance that his knee was down. And the coach on the Chip Hill sideline immediately went crazy. So maybe instead of a touchdown here, the Chip Hill side trying to say the ball was down, and I'm not quite sure about that one. And now it looks like a Chip Hills player is also leaving the field. So it looks like that's an ejection.
Yeah, the ref signaled and gave him the thumbs out. They threw one flag on the play, and I could see that number 12 was talking to the official when that first flag was thrown. Then he threw a second flag. He threw his hat. That's the signal for another flag, and I think that is on the coach. I think the first flag is on number 12, Gavin Miller, and the second flag would be on the head coach of Chip Hills.
Well, a lot of personal fouls coming here. I believe the second one was on the coach, like you said, Spencer, when he threw his hat. But I didn't catch who the first unsportsmanlike conduct or unnecessary roughness happened against on that first drive. And getting confirmation now, that was his second personal foul. He was the one with the late hit earlier that we were talking about. Second personal foul. So Gavin Miller is out of this game for Chip Hills. So he goes to the locker room along with one of the coaches. You can't send your athletes there alone after an ejection.
Yeah, 2 here might put the game away, Riley.
Well, 2 here, like you said, might put away the game, but they're going for the extra point. At least it looks like for up here. The snap is down. The kick is up. It's low. He gets through, and it's good, but there's a flag on the far sideline, the 1 yard line.
Yeah, just offsides. 55 came around the edge really fast there for the Warriors and just trying to get to that ball, make an effort play, but got to spring too early.
Well, a low knuckleballing kick from Alley gets through and up across the crossbar. It's 21-13, an 8-point game with 3:17 left. Chip Hills has 2 timeouts, same as the Cardinals. So a very big drive here for the Warriors, as this could be their last chance to try to get into the end zone.
Yeah, they're going to have to look to throw the ball more. Don't be surprised if they convert back to that spread offense look that they were given in the first quarter. Although this wing T has produced some very big plays, particularly out of Gage Todd, the running back, who has had some very nice runs all day today. Also, if I'm Big Rapids right here, because of the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, I'm kicking off from my own side. I might just try to onside kick this, although it looks like Chip Hills is offsides. They need to go back to 10 yards, only 5 yards up right now.
So it is backed up because of that personal foul that Spencer was talking about. Well, multiple of them. So Sam Alley is kicking from the other 45-yard line. The kick is snagged before it goes into the end zone by Davis at about the 5-yard line. And the ball might be on the ground. Arms waving in the air. And it will be Big Rapids ball. So they score a touchdown that puts them 8 points ahead, and then they get the turnover on the kick return, and now they have all the time in the world to drain out here. 3 minutes and 10 seconds, and Chip Hills, as we mentioned just before that kickoff, with just 2 timeouts.
2 timeouts is a positive. However, Two timeouts get you the ball back, but I don't know if that's going to happen. The way this Big Rapids offense has been moving on their last few drives, getting one first down seems highly probable.
Well, we've only seen the one successful pass play from Chip Hills tonight as well, so they might need some time to get down the field too. There's a flag already down as everybody just got up to the line of scrimmage. It's first down and 10 from the 20-yard line. So Davis picked it up around the 5-yard line, brought it back to the 20 where he let it go, and this is going to be too many men on the field for Chip Hills. We see a Warrior run off, the ball move up, and it's now first down and 5 from the about 15-yard line. And Alley's in the gun. Cooley to his left, takes a snap, handoff up the middle. Cooley running through a couple Warriors across the 10-yard line to about the 8. It'll be first down and goal for the Warriors from there. Excuse me, first down and goal from the Cardinals from there. And there is a flag down in the backfield. And it will be on Chip Hills.
Man, Chip Hills is collecting unsportsmanlike conduct penalties at this point.
After the last couple weeks in a game like this, you have to hold your breath a little bit if you're Big Rapids. A lot of penalties, 7 of them for 90 yards, or 9 of them for 70 yards in the first game of the season, and plenty more against Reed City. But there's 3 minutes and 4 seconds left, and that ball continues to move forward. So the flag against Chip Hills makes it first and goal from the 4-yard line. 21-13, Cardinals leading the Warriors. 3 minutes left to go in this game, and Big Rapids could basically put it out of reach with a touchdown here. Alley in the gun, Cooley to his left. He's got a wide receiver, Xavier Prince, split wide right, and Gorchevich at the tight end position to his left. Not many in the box for Chip Hills here as the safety moving up, and they're just going to wait for this play clock to roll down as we've reached 2:45 on the clock left in this fourth quarter. Alley takes a snap, handoff. Cooley gets to about the 1, and they're not going to say he gets in. They will mark him down at the 1-yard line as he fell right in the middle of that pile. So it'll be second down and goal from the 1-yard line, 2.5 minutes left to play. If you're not going to get in there, now you're at the 1-yard line. Not a ton of room to maybe drain some more time off the clock before punching it in.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's almost, I would say it's a positive that he's down. Now you got 3 downs from the 1-yard line to get it in, and you're going to waste it at the minimum another 40 seconds off that clock. It'll be under 2 minutes before they snap this ball.
Alley in the gun. Cooley to his left. Tight end on each side. That's Gorchevich and Prince. Handoff to Cooley up the middle, and he stopped. They'll give him about a half-yard loss. And Chip Hills calls a timeout, stops it with 1:44 left. So they're actually going to give him a loss. Well, let's see what the officials decide on here because each side has it a little bit further back. So the timeout for Chip Hills here, and somewhere around the 2-yard line is where that ball is going to be. Yard marker has it about the 4 on third down right now. But he didn't get dragged back that far without the forward progress. So 1:44 left on the clock. It's a 21-3 lead for the Cardinals over the Warriors. And Big Rapids looking like they're leaving Top Taggart Field tonight with their first victory. Both teams 0-2. Both teams losing to the same 2 teams they played at the beginning of the season with Reed City and Central Montcalm. And now Big Rapids has a chance to come out of here with a victory. I'd like to thank Big Rapids Public Schools, educating our future since 1868, recognized nationally and by the state of Michigan for excellence in education. Go Cards. Also, Paris Auto Sales and Service. Make sure your vehicle is ready for winter. Get a tune-up today. Northland Drive, just north of the airport, Big Rapids. Also, Farmers Insurance, Shane Strickler Agency. Shane can help you customize your insurance needs for your lifestyle and family. Auto, home, business, life. Call or stop in downtown Big Rapids. So after the timeout, both teams back on the field. Cardinals up to the line. 1:44. It's 3rd and goal from the 3. Alley will make 2 fakes. He'll take it himself. Rush to the end zone, and he gets in. Squeaks in past a few. A later hit there by Paris Alston, but no flag. And it's another Cardinals touchdown. It's 27-13, and with a minute and a half left, you have to be thinking this game's about over. But Sam Alley, who was pushed out late on that play, at least it looked like to us, is getting up a bit gimpy. But looks like he's all right running back. So 27-13. We saw them go with the extra point with just the kick earlier. Have to imagine that maybe we'll see the same thing. But Alley limping off the field, you might lose your kicker here.
Yeah, they're going to miss their kicker here, but they're up 2 scores right here. This game is well in hand. Just hope that Alley's healthy for next week.
Grant Kidder stays the holder on this kick. It will be Alec Bowman stepping in to kick away. The kick is up, and it is good, even though the entire right side of that line crashed. And it's 28-13. 1:38 left on the clock, and we'll step aside for 30 seconds, the last minute and a half of this game when we come back on Big Country 100.9.
Not everyone learns best in a classroom or has the time or resources to attend a school. If you're one of those people, the Big Rapids Virtual School is your path to graduate high school. The virtual school uses new and emerging technologies, allowing students to work towards their diploma anytime, any place, any way, and any pace. Available 24 hours, 7 days a week, students can access class materials, listen to lectures, complete assignments. Plus, the lab is available 39 hours per week where students can work and ask teachers for help. For more information about Big Rapids Virtual School, call 796-3489.
Big Rapids lined up for the kick here from Top Taggart Field, and it's 1:38 left on the clock for Chip Hills, who only has the 1 timeout left, and a 28-13 lead for Big Rapids. This game is all but over, barring some unforeseen circumstances. You have to think that at the least you might need a kick return all the way for a touchdown here for your Chip Hills.
Yeah, you need a big play now, and then you need an onside kick and a prayer. So, yeah, a kick return here would go a long way in helping Chip Hills fight back in.
Bowman back to kick away since Alley limped off the field earlier. The kick is around the 20 and rolls out of bounds at the 15. Let's see if Chip Hills takes it where it is or if they're going to re-kick it. The kick team running back to the 40. And there it is. Now the Chip Hills receiving team is back on the field. So the kick return team back on the field. Logan Davis back to return alongside Gage Todd. If you're Big Rapids here, obviously minute 38 left, just 1 timeout for Chip Hills, but you probably want to keep that ball away from Gage Todd on this kick return. Logan Davis on his last kick return had a fumble, which set them up at the 20-yard line. So the ball was on the 40, and Bowman will have to move it back to the 45-yard line, places it right in the middle of the X. And now he's set for the second kick. The whistle, the hand in the air, and Bowman boots it away back towards the sideline, and this one will just be watched out of bounds. Gabe Miller just stood where he was and stared at it as it flew towards the track. It'll be 1st down and 10 for Chip Hills. Or are they going to kick it again?
They're going to have to go back another 5. I think they're going to kick this one from the 30. And at this point, it just maybe ask him to kick it right down the middle of the field. I mean, they're trying to, it seems, have him kick to his sideline, but.
And I think they are just trying to keep it away from Gage Todd. But, yeah, like you said, Spencer, they move it back 5 yards. Now they're kicking from the 30-yard line with a minute 38 left in this fourth quarter. 28-13, Cardinals leading, and Alec Bowman will have his 3rd chance to keep a kick in bounds. Some adjustments here by the kick team. And it will be just a little squib kick to Paris Alston, who picks it up at the 40-yard line, trying to cut towards the left side. He gets across the 45, gets across the 50 where he stiff-arms Xander Prince, and across the 45-yard line where he gets out of bounds. 1:28 left on the clock in the fourth quarter. A very aggressive and powerful kick return there by Paris Alston. And the Big Rapids defense will come out onto the field with 1.5 minutes left to play. 28-13 is their lead. It's first down and 10 from the 43, already in Big Rapids territory for Chip Hills.
For Big Rapids, they pulled most of their linemen. It looks like they only have 2 big guys left in there. DJ Green Bay is one of them, and then the other one is Austin Mankey.
Well, you mentioned they pulled Green Bay. Well, that's because they're running a 3-man front with Alec Bowman as a nose guard. Swing pass right to Paris Alston. He makes a man miss. That was Jamal Strickland. He gets across the 30, the 25, where he's wrapped up by Xavier Prince, as he passed the 20. Mark him down at about the 18-yard line. 1:15 left to go in the fourth quarter. First down and 10. Clock stopped at 1:17 while the chains move. It's first down and 10 from the 18. 28-13, the lead for Big Rapids over Chip Hills.
A little bit of a mistake there by Allstate to not get out of bounds. The clock is now running now that the chains are set, and that's going to cost them at minimum 20 seconds here.
Trying to get that extra yardage. Alston split wide right. Todd split wide left. The snap to Davis. Logan Davis looking left side, and that is nowhere near anybody except for Xander Prince, who was covering the middle of the field.
Yeah, I don't know where. That's just miscommunication. I don't know if he was expecting to run just a straight streak, but Todd kind of faded to the pylon. Looked like he was running more of a corner route. Yeah, a little bit of miscommunication there. He just throws it.
They either got crossed up or he was trying to throw back shoulder, and it ended up back of the end zone.
Yeah, to put it in perspective, he was by the B in Bulldog, and he threw it to about the first L in Bulldog.
That is a great explanation. Really tells you where it is on the field. But we're under a minute left to play here in this fourth quarter. Incomplete pass stopped the clock with 57 seconds left. Davis takes a snap. He's looking to run himself to the right. Gets across the 15. He pops the ball out, and it rolls out of bounds. Lucky for Logan Davis here that wasn't turned over.
Yeah, he's lucky that he was by the sideline because he got popped pretty good there, and the ball went flying out of bounds.
So 50 seconds left in the game. 3rd and 3 from the 11-yard line. So 28-13. Cardinals trying to put away their first victory of the season. Alston wide left. Todd now comes closer to us on the right side. And in the pistol, Davis takes the snap. Fake handoff right. He's looking towards the right, and he misses his tight end, Troy Mount. Again, he would have caught that around the 5-yard line. It would either had to go for the end zone or out of bounds there to keep this drive rolling.
A little bit of a weird defensive formation right there for Big Rapids. They had their starting right guard, Christian Ramsvig, was out at cornerback guarding Allstate. I don't know why that was, but they ended up going. Chip Hills ended up going to the opposite side of the field anyway, so no harm, no foul.
And we heard about this last few years. 2 quarterbacks used on the Chip Hills side. Now Paris Alston will line up at quarterback, and Logan Davis lines up at wide receiver, wide left. And Alston will have the ball pop out, and it's covered up by Big Rapids, and that will most likely end this game. 41 seconds left and another turnover from Chip Hills. It was just who could get to the ball the fastest there. There was no way Alston was just going to be able to jump on that ball. Looked like he maybe muffed up the handoff and then kicked it with his knee forward. And a recovery from Big Rapids, and with 41 seconds left, you can see how excited these kids are on the sideline, thinking they didn't have a football season, coming back and having to prepare short notice for a football season, and now finally looking like they're zeroing in on their first victory here in Week 3.
Yeah, this is huge. All they're going to do is snap the ball, walk around for about 2 seconds, and then take the knee. That way it'll run down all 40 seconds.
Well, there wasn't a ton of walking around, but there was a knee taken there by Sam Alley. They ran their victory formation out of the gun, and both teams are leaving the field now after Chip Hills, Big Rapids guys telling each other good game, and the clock at about 15 seconds left to go, but no one's running another play here. This is a final score of 28-13 in Big Rapids at home with a decent amount of fans here in attendance get their first victory. They move to 1-2 on the season as Chip Hills, playing the same two opponents that Big Rapids did in the first 2 weeks, moves to 0-3 on the season. So some stuff to learn for both teams here, especially Big Rapids with those turnovers, 3 interceptions from Sam Alley. Can't harp on him too much because he came back with 3 touchdowns, 1 through the air and 2 on the ground. But a victory for Big Rapids, and they'll go back to the board, and they'll work on next week's game. Well, we're not just done yet. We'll have the post-game report for you along with the Big Country weather update and a few other things after we take a short 2-minute break, and we'll be back right here on Big Country 100.9.
Gator XUV 835. When other utility vehicles take a rain check, we help you take the wheel and enjoy the thrill of the ride. With factory installed 3-wide seating, heating, and AC, the XUV 835 is our coolest, most comfortable Gator yet. Isn't it time you took a John Deere Gator for a test drive? To learn more, go to greentractors.com. From Southeast Michigan to the bridge, let the experts at Bader & Sons Company show you why we are outstanding in our field.
Not everyone learns best in a classroom or has the time or resources to attend a school. If you're one of those people, the Big Rapids Virtual School is your path to graduate high school. The virtual school uses new and emerging technologies, allowing students to work towards their diploma anytime, any place, any way, and any pace. Available 24 hours, 7 days a week, students can access class materials, listen to lectures, complete assignments. Plus, the lab is available 39 hours per week where students can work and ask teachers for help. For more information about Big Rapids Virtual School,
your car's transmission. It can be your best friend or your worst nightmare. One day you're cruising along without a care in the world. The next day your car is about as mobile as a big old hog on a hot summer day. Thankfully, the Napa certified techs at Paris Auto Sales and Service of Big Rapids specialize in fixing and rebuilding transmissions. They'll make sure your car runs so smooth you'd think it was a pickup line from Patrick Swayze. Paris Auto Sales and Service of Big Rapids, Northland Drive, just north of the airport. Schedule your appointment online at parisautosales.br.net.
Hey, everybody! Harry Carey here for Talk Trash. Our first guest is Ben from Sam's Disposal. So, Ben, why haven't you raised your rates in over 10 years? It seems to be all the rage now.
Well, Mr. Carey, that's a great question. You see, my father Sam always said...
Now that's a great name. I once knew a man named Sam Toothpick Jones. They called him Toothpick because he was curious like a cat. Say, have you ever seen the movie Son of Sam?
Yeah, actually.
It is a great show. Well, anyway, that's neither here nor there. Hey, Ben, tell me, how do you stay in business with flat rates without any hidden fees? Seems like all your competitors always stick it to you when you don't see it coming.
Now, that's another great question, Harry.
Well, that's the time we have for today. Thanks for joining us, Ben, with Sam's Disposal. It sounds like a swell company. Do you pick up in heaven? I might have to give you a call. See you next time for Talk Trash, folks. Don't forget to call Sam at 796-2952. Cubs win. Cubs win.
This just out, the average age of a vehicle on the road today is just over 11 years. That's impressive because it takes regular maintenance and solid repair work to keep a vehicle running well that long. At Quality Car and Truck Repair, that's what we do. We keep vehicles running their best for as long as possible. We're still changing oil, performing regular maintenance, and doing repairs on vehicles.
Opponent of how they won this game. Before we get into too much analysis, let's just run you through really a scoring replay here of what happened. That first quarter, nothing. Zip, zilch, nada. We saw a lot of running there and no scoring in that first quarter. Get to the second quarter, we see 3 touchdowns. A majority of what was scored between the two teams tonight happened in that second quarter. It was all started by Logan Davis and his touchdown run. He bootlegged out right from about 20 yards out and scored with 9 minutes left in that second quarter. That made the score 6-0. After that, on back-to-back drives, Chip Hills had a touchdown pass from Logan Davis to Troy Mount, who we saw drop a couple later in the game. But that came across with 4.5 minutes left in that second quarter. Made it 13-0, and at that point it was looking a little bit bleak for Big Rapids in that first half. But they were able to drive down less than a minute after a big kick return from Jamal Strickland that got them basically into the red zone already, and then it was a Justin Gorchevich touchdown run with 3 minutes and 40 seconds left in the first half, made it 13-7. with the Warriors still in the lead, but that's how it would go into halftime. Big Rapids came close to at least tying that score, maybe even taking the lead in that first half. They got to about the 25-yard line, and a pass from Sam Alley picked off at the goal line, and that's how that first half ended. So move to the second half, third quarter, the same as the first. No scoring from either team. A lot of movement, a couple turnovers from Chip Hills, one from Big Rapids. But after that, we get to the fourth quarter, and it was the Sam Alley show. It was a Sam Alley touchdown run. Just a few seconds in, 10 minutes, 11 seconds left is when he scored that first touchdown of the fourth quarter, made it 14-13. Big Rapids takes the lead. And then Sam Alley on a big scramble play where maybe he was down, maybe he wasn't, but on the field they said he wasn't. He rolled out right, found a wide-open Xavier Prince in the right corner of the end zone for a touchdown, make it 21-13, and that was after a Chip Hills turnover. And then all of a sudden, there's another one on the kick return from Logan Davis, who tried to pick it up at the 5, bring it back, dropped it at the 20. And then Sam Alley was able to rush in for another touchdown with a minute and a half left in the game, making the score 28-3. We saw him limp off there at the end. Didn't see him come back, although there wasn't really a need for him to come back in the game at that point. But once again, your final score, 28-13, Big Rapids over Chip Hills. And Spencer, we saw a lot of things from a lot of different people on both teams. What are your big takeaways for tonight?
Jamal Strickland, big play potential. Really, he started the momentum for the Cardinals to score 28 unanswered points. In the rest of this game, that kick return sets them up. They get the first touchdown of the game, get themselves feeling good, and they end up, rattling off some points. Xavier Prince had the big play of the second half, however, on that fumble return to really spark the team to score. I believe that was to score their first touchdown, and that was the one that gave them the lead, the first touchdown of the second half, that is, and that gave them the lead. And then Sam Alley to come back the way he did the second half after throwing his third interception right as time expired to end the first half. Then scores 3 touchdowns to match his 3 interceptions, 2 on the ground, 1 in the air, the one in the air being the most impressive one. Scrambles left on a bootleg, nothing there, rolls back, makes a defender miss, maybe not down, but refs call him up. He keeps the play going and finds Xavier Prince for that TD in the back of the corner of the end zone.
Well, a lot of action tonight, and really we told you about basically everything that happened. Some big turnovers in that first half that kept Big Rapids from scoring. But just like we talked about with Coach Seltzer, the whole offseason was focused around, focus itself, mental focus, and also fighting through some adversity. And they did that here tonight. They'd seen themselves down in the first half or down in general in all 3 games. They're able to take the lead in the second half here and come out with a victory. And it's about 9:25 right now. I think that's about a great time for the Big Rapids Radio Network weather report, or Big Country weather report, on your way home. And it's gotten a few degrees cooler since we've been up at the press box. Luckily, no coats or anything required up here for us. We're out of the elements, but it's about 43 degrees outside if you're listening to us on your drive home here from Top Taggart. Not a ton else to go over in this game. We'd have to give a big shout-out to tonight's game sponsors, Farmers Insurance Strickler Agency in downtown Big Rapids. Also, Sam's Disposal, flat rates, no contracts, no hidden fees. Call 796-2952 today to start your service. And last but not least, Bader & Sons, your local John Deere dealer, outstanding in their field. Find more at greentractors.com. Also, have to give a big thanks to Quality Car and Truck Repair, Williams Family Medical, Isabella Bank, sponsoring the Isabella Bank Sports Studios, Bader & Sons Company at Green Tractors, Johnson's Automotive, Big Rapids Public Schools, and so many more that are making these broadcasts possible, and also the Facebook live streams possible for you to watch at home if you weren't able to make it to the game. Big thanks to Kaitlyn Orme, who was directing our Facebook live feed today. Also, another big shout out to Braeden Childress. I know I said his name a few times throughout the broadcast, but a very important person to this broadcast getting to you. I'll give you the score one final time here from Top Taggart Field on the campus of Ferris State University. Cardinals 28, Warriors 13. And until next Friday at 6:45, go Cards.